Good evening, everybody. Welcome to America's Third Party. I'm David Sponheim, running for president, and this is Technology Thursday. We are right now on the verge of some pretty interesting events going on around the world. I remember a couple days ago somebody said, boy, this seems like a time for another false flag event. It'd been a while since the Paris attack, and many people are disputing the Paris attack as being a fake because they alleged that over 120 people died, and they never showed the names of more than 65 people dead. We never saw a serious review of the forensic work done at the Paris shooting. And now the same thing is true with Belgium. Absolutely. There's photographs of people carrying plastic babies around, acting like they're picking up wreckage. There was one story, a news story that showed that a video from 2011 filming a bombing in an airport in Russia was used and supplanted for any video that they had, surveillance video. Another review showed smoke at the location where the Belgium attack occurred. And live video showed that there were no smoke alarms, not one smoke alarm at the event, which is very, very strange. I mean, why would they turn off the smoke alarms in lieu of a major attack, unless it was a false flag event? Okay, so there's a lot of concern about whether these false flags are preemptive of a terror strike. Well, if there is some sort of a terror strike, and we're extremely concerned about that, of course, and I'm very concerned about real terrorism, don't get me wrong. But if we're being lured into another war by the same people that put us in the war in Iraq and Afghanistan, the same people that perpetrated, plots like 9/11. I'm the only candidate out there that believes that 9/11 could be an inside job, and I've been public about that. Trump is afraid to say those words. I'm the only candidate out there who's trying to get accountability from our government on issues like chemtrails, fluoride in our water system, the reckless use of GMOs by Monsanto and Dow without any recall by our government. There's all kinds of wrongs that need to be righted. And we need a good, solid, honest president to do that. We're not getting that from the two leading candidates. Hillary and Donald appear to be dishonest. And of course, we have, for those of you who are struggling with life in general, we have brought the cowbell into the show. So it'll make you feel better. All right? Tether you to the idea of some sense of reality that you're looking for. So we'll bring the cowbell in periodically. I was hoping the FBI would indict Hillary in October for treason, but I don't think they have the power. Hillary is a political whale who has the power and the money, over $2 billion, to lead this nation's presidential campaign. She easily can buy votes right now. She could even offer people cash. Theoretically, there's no law against it. So it depends on what Hillary wants to do. We're all just sitting around waiting because she controls all the media that surrounds her. There's no free press left. There's no investigative journalism left. That's all been completely shut down. There's just people like me on the blogosphere who protest, and no one really hears, who has any power. So you here are simply Americans like myself. Many of you are foreigners as well listening to this show, and we literally have no power. The money controls the political environment in America. We are not living in a nation free and democratic. Even our republic is eroding. The laws, our amendments to the Constitution, all of them seem to be attacked on a daily basis by unnecessary, reckless presidential executive orders by Obama and Bush. So they're systematically breaking down the fabric of our republic. And they certainly aren't offering any democratic options. In fact, the Democratic Party is the least democratic organization in the world. Sounded good to your speakers, good. Well, like I said, Muammar Gaddafi is a person that tried to help his country. He even offered during the 2009 period, when we had a major problem with the foreclosures and the mortgage-backed foreclosures going down, Muammar Gaddafi gave everybody who's a citizen of Libya $695 per person. Yeah. He was a person who actually tried to help his people. We our country systematically started a war against him, created a no-fly zone, which they claimed that he violated within 5 minutes. They were launching missiles at him, and then they routed him out like a dog. And in the end, our country funded Al-Qaeda. Now, we're not supposed to do that. We have a standing law in America that says we cannot negotiate with terrorists. We were funding Al-Qaeda, and the person that replaced Muammar Gaddafi was an Al-Qaeda member. And that's all fact. CBS News reported this. It's all in the record. So we can't get around that. The problem is you, the voter, haven't realized this because you weren't told these facts. No one in the media, none of the mainstream media news stations actually address these issues. They don't address the fact that our military actually harvests opium for the warlords in Afghanistan. Why do you think we're still there with a large contingency of troops? It's not because we're fighting a war, it's because we're protecting the opium product, which, by the way, the CIA makes $50 billion a year in black money. Black market money is what they use, and they don't want to break a good thing. They want to keep that going, so they don't mind cheap heroin on the streets of America now. Your kids could get overdosed on a dime bag of heroin, and our government doesn't seem to even want to talk about it. So we have a huge problem with the two-party system. It's become an absolute disaster. They've been unable to make a budget or even pass a budget in the past 5 years. They've been the worst lame duck Congress in history. Every year they break new records in what little legislation they actually pass. So we are literally at a time when the American voter will decide the future of this country. And I've got a fairly unique plan, actually, because I believe we've got very little accountability from our existing government. I believe the Diebold voting systems are riggable, and there's only one way to stop that. We actually have to get a write-in candidate that everybody can agree on and write my name in. So I believe that the future of our country depends on it. So this is the campaign. Write in David Sponheim for U.S. President. That's pretty much what I'm asking you to do. I'm also asking you to get me on the ballot in your state, which you can do by going to AmericasThirdParty.com and click on the old site and go to the old site. It'll take you right to your state and simply look at the election law and make the phone call to your Secretary of State and get a petition to get me on the ballot to nominate me. But if you can't do that, I understand. Most people are overwhelmed with stresses of modern times. But writing my name in is, by default, the answer to get accountability from a very rigged system. Why your next hotel will be staffed by robots. And Dr. No has a mysterious necrotic skin disease, continues to eat away at baby's face weeks after being kissed by Ted Cruz. No, that's a joke, man. And Gary Shandling has died. Gary Shandling, thank you. Gary Shandling is a comedian who has probably some followers out there, people that really thought he was funny. Somebody told me his net worth was $17 million. I had no idea. Gary Shandling. I can't confirm that, but he passed away. He was feeling sick. He had a heart attack in the hospital, on his way to the hospital, so he's no longer with us. Well, I don't know. Will there be an autopsy, or will it be like Justice Scalia, where he was found with a pillow over his head, with his arms at his side, with no sheets ruffled? Everything was very still and like he was dressed for the funeral parlor before he even died. And Justice Scalia was rushed off to a funeral parlor. Right as soon as they got a cause of death was a heart attack, they just decided that over the phone. No doctor actually saw him. No one looked at his body, Justice Scalia. And he went ahead and was buried after immediately being rushed with full escort, like 20 vehicles, rushed him to the nearest funeral home and gave him an embalming procedure. So if that was a cover-up, they definitely wanted to cover up the death of Justice Scalia. So these are big questions that you need to ask yourself. You know, is this happening for a reason? Are we witnessing a government that is run by thugs? Do they completely overlook disclosure and rights and freedom and all of that? The answer is yes, 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 and yes. Our country's been run by thugs since JFK was assassinated by someone other than Lee Harvey Oswald. If you believe that, you're in the minority. 90% of the country believed that there was another gunman besides Lee Harvey Oswald. So we've got a lot of corruption in our country, way more than many people realize. This is the new robot staff being set up, according to CNN. Robot receptionist Chihira Kani, created by engineers at Toshiba, made a recent appearance in Berlin. She speaks 19 languages, and she's fond of telling random strangers she's a Gemini. Some of you are getting excited, thinking, wow, your future lover. Candy Rain. When you say Gary Shanley was way ahead of the curve, what curve was that? Boring Jewish comedians? That curve? I mean, I'm sure we've had quite a few of those. But yeah, Gary Shanley was funny to a lot of people, so many people who remembered his work 4 years on the Gary Shanley show really missed him. And I'm sorry he passed away. Candy Rain is here. Hi, Candy. Okay, so look at this BS, Candy says. FBI would rather crack terrorist iPhones itself. Yeah. You know, Donald Trump is out there saying we should boycott iPhones, and Apple's one of the few companies that's been successful. I mean, I don't know if Donald Trump's been very successful with his product line, but he's attacking a company that is successful. But the FBI would rather crack terrorist iPhone itself. On the eve of court showdown with Apple over unlocking the iPhone of one of the San Bernardino shooters, the FBI put its case on pause Monday to pursue an attack method that could allow it to crack the phone without Apple's assistance. Yeah, they probably listened to the statement by John McAfee, who said that any phone can be hacked, and he was surprised the FBI didn't know that. Well, after reviewing the FBI's request for postponement of oral arguments in the case, a U.S. District Court in California ruled that good cause had been shown by the government for the delay, and it ordered a filed status report with court on April 5th. So apparently the FBI listened to John McAfee and is going to try to crack that phone themselves. Unbelievable. I mean, it's amazing that a person like John McAfee would be educating our FBI, who, by the way, are 10 years behind the technological loop. So when they want to crack phones, they just put an order saying they want all encryption data procedures to be broken. They don't even know what they're talking about. And Apple knew that. Apple put a good attorney on it, and they got right back in the FBI's face and said, you don't have the right to do this. As they literally want to breach all of our privacy. Let me tell you something about the technology. You know, it took the Justice Department 7 or 8 years to put a warning on their website saying, warning, beware of phishing. Phishing is P-H-I-S-H. It's something that goes on all the time when Nigerians send you emails claiming you're the beneficiary of millions of dollars, and they simply have to send a deposit in their account, and they'll send the money to you. Well, old people have been fleeced, and the Justice Department did nothing to stop that. Lots of people have lost their entire life savings with these phishing scams, thinking, oh, someone has my email. Oh. Okay, lost emails from Clinton's server discovered. This is good. This could be a break in the case, because like I said, Clinton has billions of dollars, $2 billion to run for president. Hillary is willing probably to suppress anybody trying to stop her with threats. God knows what she knows about every other politician out there. And 251, I'm going to ask you to say nice things about me, or I'm going to go ahead and remove you from the show. All right? Okay. Yeah, Candy says the FBI doesn't have the right. They're trying to strong arm. Exactly. So true, Candy. Thanks for that article. Lost emails from Clinton's server discovered. Apparently, she was unable to hide all 5 months of her shenanigans when she was Secretary
Conservative
of State.
legal watchdogs have discovered new emails from Hillary Clinton's private email server dating back to the first days of her tenure as Secretary of State. The previously undisclosed February 2009 emails between Clinton from her then Chief of Staff, Cheryl Mills, raised new questions about the scope of emails from Clinton's early days in office that were not handed over to the State Department for record keeping and may have been lost entirely. Clinton's presidential campaign has previously claimed that the former top diplomat did not use her personal ClintonEmail.com account before 2009, weeks after she was sworn in as Secretary of State. But on Thursday, the watchdog group Judicial Watch released one message from February 13th of 2009 in which Mills communicated with Clinton on the account to discuss the National Security Agency's efforts to produce a secure BlackBerry device for her to use as Secretary of State. The discovery is likely to renew questions about Clinton's narrative about her use of the private email server, which has come under scrutiny.
So anybody can get a job. You just have to read a script and do it poorly like that guy. See, anybody could work at any major journalistic venue right now. Yeah. Doesn't take any talent anymore. I realized that a long time ago when I realized I was so talented that I would be wasting my time getting a job at PBS. PBS has a weird show on at night where they've got this woman named Diane Reeves where she's got this voice impediment. And I knew that if they'd hire people like that, they'd probably look at me and go, oh my God, you're too talented. We don't want you. I mean, this is what Diane Reeves sounds like at night. She's like, I'm Diane Reeves for PBS Radio. You know, it's just unbelievable. I have an IQ much higher than that, Hippo Dance. All right, so here's your tax money is spent. Obama brings 2 fuel-guzzling planes to serve as Air Force One in Argentina. And by the way, he was dancing the tango while the Brussels event was going on. It shows you he must know that the Brussels event is a false flag, because he and his wife, or husband, or whatever you want to call her, him, her, is probably, they probably had a romantic evening while Brussels burned. I'm not so sure the Brussels event was real. I'm still debating that. So you'll have to excuse me if I'm not prone to jumping all over myself and screaming, terror! Look at the two fuel-guzzling planes to serve as Air Force One in Argentina. Michelle, and he's traveling with his escort, Michael. And now they're tango dancing at the Argentina State Bank. Wow. Love her tutu. Well, let's be clear. So he brought a second vehicle just so his family can go sightseeing in Argentina on Thursday. This guy has spent more money than any other president. Michelle has had 26 servants by her side the whole time. I mean, it's absurd. JPF, I would never join Mensa. It's expensive. You're wasting $75 a year. What kind of a moron would do that? You know how hard it is to make $75 in the real economy? Okay, I'm going to take... Candy Rain is right. Guest off. We don't want people who are just trolling us tonight. We need people who are sincere. Bag and Audio, that's a derogatory statement. I have a tested IQ of 185. Why would I want to go take another test? Obama is not a good-looking man. He's a frail and pathetic individual who likes to lie because he and Michael are very into money. If you voted for Barack Obama and are still of the belief that he's doing something for the country, you are brain dead. Seriously, you need to wake up. He's cost you 30% more on your insurance with Obamacare. He's pissed off Putin. We're playing a game of cat and mouse with another world leader because of Obama. Yeah, imagine how many families they could have fed with that money. You're right. And Obama sent rebels in Syria $662 million tax dollars. 500 mil and then 162 mil on top of that. And all that money could have gone to cities that are really in need of financial relief. People really in need of financial relief. It's crazy what a lousy president he's been. Absolutely crazy. Well, Grizzly Ray, I would take the test, but I'm too busy reading the chat right now. You know, I don't want to create a timeline of my life, Ed. It's etched in my memory. It's called boredom leads to boredom, leads to trolls, leads to boredom. That's the timeline of my life. Boredom, trolls, boredom, trolls, boredom. Yeah. I started the show because I used to talk about politics to Sarah, and she didn't want to talk politics. Hey, David Nation. Good evening. Yo. You're going to throw my vote? Great. You're going to not vote for Bernie Sanders because he's so corrupt and bought off by the Democratic Party? Thank you. A socialist is going to vote for me. How about that? And I'm not even a socialist. You're going to vote for Obama because you love him so much? Wow, that sucks. I'm not feisty. I'm just trying to respond to chat, and I really needed a big cup of coffee, and I'm kind of waiting here. Well, Bernie's not strong enough to really lead the nation, I can assure you. And he's not strong enough to go up against Wall Street. You know, screaming, I'm going to make this right, I'm going to go after the money, is not enough. That alone will get you into the door, but it won't solve the problem. We also don't want to destabilize our wonderful fake economy, too. Gosh, I mean, how can you in any way deny that we have such a strong economy after all these years of printed money? We still are the world currency. How about that? Thank you. Thank you very much. That's because our forefathers fought their ass off to beat Germany and Japan in World War II, and we established a tremendously strong nation. And we are still the world leader, despite what China said recently, that they have the production lead on us. The Chinese index, stock market index, dropped 42% over the past year, after they claimed they were leading in production. So I don't believe they're the leaders in world production at this point. No, you can still vote in some areas, heavy duty. There are some cities you can vote in elections. If you have had prison time, you can still vote in some local elections. But I'm sorry you lost your right to vote. But you can promote a political candidate. You can walk around talking about me and telling people my name and what I'm doing. And follow us on Third Party at Twitter. I'm not in any way spouting socialist programs. Homeownership is not a socialist program. My idea of the Homestead Renewal Plan is a solid idea based on a simple plan to turn HUD into something useful. HUD has a program called the Home Program currently in operation, but it's hardly funded. And we believe that that program could spark the government to buy old houses that are foreclosed and invest a little of that money. We have $3 or $4 billion we can work with the first year. And we can start fixing up houses and flipping them. And in the process, you can own a home. Yeah, isn't that great? Okay, so one of the ideas that we have on our show is the renewable energy solutions we bring, technological innovations. One of these ideas is this vertical windmill, which is amazing because it could be portable. We could strap it on to any telephone pole in the country, and it can start making money immediately. This is a concept that I came up with that very well could power up what we need in terms of backup power. There it is. It's a Savonius windmill, which is a open Creative Commons patent, which can be copied by anybody. And it offers guaranteed wind generated electricity at wind speeds as low as 5 miles an hour. Pretty cool, huh? This is my idea. I came up with this in 2008. So we've got new renewable energy solutions for the country. We got solar panels that we want to put on rooftops, and that's in our job plan. This is getting a little confusing. We got a lot of things on here. The solar rooftop revolution. Yeah, that's the concept. Roll out the rooftops. We're going to have a solar rooftop today. Renewable, yes. And let's not forget the fact that I do support legalizing marijuana. Never forget that. That's a big part of this plan. We're the only person, yeah, I like that too. We're the only group out there that want to legalize recreational use of marijuana across the board. And Digital Trends, Farba, thank you. You've got a link to something that looks very promising. A window covering that could be a solar panel. Look at that. It can turn any window glass into a solar panel. Interesting. The cost for replacing the solar rooftop, we're going to have these things roll out. The concept is essentially it's going to be about a $5,000 to $10,000 cost in terms of the material itself. Right now, a rooftop would be $25,000 installed. So it's going to be $5,000 to $10,000 for replacement. But we're going to last like 40 years. You won't have to replace the rooftop. I'm looking for my GIF. Okay, let's take a look at this article that came in. If you're thinking about going solar, we've got good news. Your options have been expanded. Solar Window Technologies announced that their new cells can produce 50 times the energy of panels commonly in use today. Whoa, 50 times the energy. What that means is a faster return on investment required for a solar setup. And that's a pretty outrageous claim. 50 times the amount of energy produced? That's great. Yeah, they are making solar panels differently, Candy. Yeah, in fact, what they're doing now is they're using hydrogen ion generators to slice the silicate, which makes it really thin without much loss. Right now, a lot of solar panel producers use sanding discs or splicers to cut it, and there's a tremendous amount of sawdust or silicate dust. And the hydrogen ion generators have no dust whatsoever, and they cut them really thin. So yeah, we're expecting a 41% savings when we start making these things in a big way. But Obama kind of blew it with Solyndra. He gave $530 million to Solyndra, and they took the money and they didn't produce anything. Yeah, kind of felt flat on its face there. Cowbell time, guys, some of you. All right. We want you to be happy. I get a request for cowbells all the time now because everyone seems to be so fluoridated. They don't even know what to do. Okay, let's see if I can pull the renewable energy solutions would be lowering the cost of energy for all of us. That would be really important. You know, our electric bill is higher than it's ever been. I don't know if about you, but I'm paying more than I ever have. Yeah, we got Canadians in here. We got lots of people, U.S. citizens as well. This is America's Third Party. We are an ongoing political chat show and a growing political movement in America. And we definitely want your participation because we think that the best solution is to get people talking about the problems in the country that are real. You know, when I say legalization is part of my plan, that's the bare minimum. That's like, oh, it's a no-brainer. Of course we have to legalize marijuana. 20 states now are talking about it. So we need to, you know, look at a big picture across the board. But we have a lot of new ideas that we'll talk about tonight that are different. All right. Whoop, whoop. Okay, let's take a look at some music here. I'm trying to get something I can play. Kind of jazzy music. There we go. Okay, let's take a look at the news. See what's going on. Okay, police raids in Paris foil a planned terrorist attack. Now, this happened very close to Meow TV's location. People don't realize you're living near a police raid. Yeah, so they found raids in northwest Paris have foiled a terrorist attack, so they claim. French officials said late Thursday. French Interior Minister Bernard Cazeneuve gave a press conference in Paris announcing there was an operation underway in Argenteuil. Okay, a commune. I'm just a little concerned that this is all fake. That's my biggest concern. Fake. Fake, 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 fake. I'm not sure who you're talking about. Tabasco sauce. London to New York City in just 3.5 hours. A round trip will set you back $5,000. This is a new technology. Virgin Galactic is going to go where the Concorde failed. Yeah, apparently the Concorde was put out of service because it was at a little gas fume issue in the gas tanks. I really think that's our country is literally giving Richard Branson tons of money, and Virgin Galactic is rolling in dough from NASA. And now they're looking at creating a Concorde. They're claiming they're going to be able to do this and get from New York to London, but it'll cost $5,000. Yeah. Yeah, I think David Nation may be high. Yeah. Quality control is why Japanese cars are far superior to American cars. There's no argument there. I would agree with you. American cars really have underperformed. I was wondering why so many cars in America got bad reviews in Motor Trend and Car and Driver over the many years, decades. They really only last 100,000 without the engine starting to tweak and the trannies start to break. I mean, seriously. Trucks, however, are really well built. American trucks, like the Ford F-150, and it's just amazing how well they perform. So if you want to buy an older vehicle in America, go buy a truck. Hi, Bostonian. I'm doing great. Grizzly Ray wants a Rob Ford and Scalia autopsy. And let's add Gary Shandling to the list, too. Yeah. 66, too young to die. So that's going to be an interesting new technology coming out of Virgin Galactic. The last major technology that they created was this flight that ended up crashing twice. Whatever happened to that Virgin Galactic trip around the ionosphere? How come they haven't gone on that trip yet? Now they're coming up with a fast way to go from Paris or London to New York City. It's amazing how they didn't really deploy that vehicle, and Branson never took that trip with his family. Maybe somebody told him, hey, 4 people have died and 3 others injured. You may not want to do this. Gary was a pretty unique guy. He had a great sense of humor. I just never laughed at a damn thing he ever said. Did any of you laugh at Gary's stuff? I mean, really, deep down, I can't stop laughing, gotta laugh. I didn't. Not Cher, Gary Shandling. Virgin Galactic has rebuilt the craft ready to be tested. Oh, that's going to be another crash, I'm sure. It's crashed twice, and Richard Branson, you'd think, would kind of give up his lust for greed. But when you are greedy, he wasn't funny, I know. When you are greedy, and I'm not greedy, there's an endless need for more. Ask Donald Trump. He's proud to be greedy. It's serious. Yeah. If you don't find it funny, no sense of humor. Oh, really, Jeff? What, do you like Larry David? And you thought Larry David was funny too? Yeah. Like the time he urinated on a picture of Jesus? Did you find that funny? Jeff Davidson? Yeah. I don't know. I just don't find, the standard Jewish humor out there is not that funny to me. I mean, I've had, how many years now we've had humorists that are Jewish? Jon Stewart, 85% of his staff were Jewish. He said so himself. Rick Sanchez said that that was true, and it cost him his job. So, I mean, I'm just not that wowed by Jewish comedians anymore. I mean, seriously. Woody Allen was funny for about 3 or 4 minutes. Oh, so you're an atheist and you think Larry David was funny because he urinated on a picture of Jesus? Wow. I'm not a big Seinfeld fan either. I mean, I just haven't laughed at any of those jokes. I don't know, maybe it's just Jewish humor. It just doesn't touch me. Nothing against Jewish people. You know, such a deal. I mean, I wouldn't want to say anything bad about them. It could cost me a lot. There you go. I mean, almost every comedian is Jewish. What's with that? Almost every banker is Jewish. Almost every doctor is Jewish. Almost every lawyer charging $500 an hour is Jewish. What the hell's going on here? I have nothing against Jewish people. We've got an Ashkenazi Jew here, David Dacian. Hello. But I must tell you, we need more opportunity for yentas and wasps and people who aren't Jewish. It's not fair. So I want to offer public school opportunities to become doctors, lawyers, and bankers. Wouldn't that be great? You wouldn't have to pay through the nose, like $50,000 a year to do this. Personally, I'm not here to despise religion. I love the fact that this is a political show. So we're trying to pay homage to certain people. But I just made a comment. I didn't really find Jewish humor that funny. Sorry. I mean, is that okay? Could I speak the truth on my own show? You want the cowbell picture and you want it all, man. Check this out. The Jewish media controls your mind. The cowbell is just a side note. Okay, we saw something really disturbing. A situation where a guy got ran off the road here. This has had a lot of views. I want to show it to you. Reason not to drive recklessly. Wow. Luckily he's okay. He walked away from it good. Well, that was a happy ending. Road rage. You spelled Tabasco wrong. I had a boss who was Jewish. Yeah. You must know a lot about me. I was quite shocked at the way he handled business, to be honest. So the camera guy chased down the car? Oh, okay, cool. I just didn't stay to see the ending? The happy ending? Okay. You want the massage with happy ending? Oh, you know me? Oh, you know more than I think. Okay. Well, my boss was, he was a Jewish man. And I just personally didn't like the way he handled business. It just bothered me. There was something about him. It was kind of like a notion of greed that kind of got to me after a while. I just couldn't understand it. Never had a Jewish person tell me what to do. I've always been my own boss. That's probably the reason why I quit. I didn't want somebody telling me what to do. Well, I was shocked the way he handled business. He would offer people $1 for something he would put a $100 price tag on. It just didn't make any sense. It was like you're giving somebody $1 and you're going to put a $100 price tag on it. I mean, that's just disturbing. In retail, that's a death knell for your business. I mean, people don't bring you stuff, and then people get ripped off. It wasn't good. GMO food safety testing exposed as a corporate-run science fraud. GMO food safety testing is a corporate-run science fraud. Let's take a look at that. And welcome to a Technology Thursday, everybody. Okay, let's look at this. Genetically modified food may be one of the biggest frauds in science and will definitely not feed the world or improve our farming techniques. On average, 80% of most American staple foods is genetically modified to some degree now. GMOs have been a long part of a daily routine of this plant biologist, Jonathan Latham, and a co-founder and executive director of the Bioscience Resource Project. And from the 1990s, early 1990s, he was involved in the creation of GM plants, like broccoli, carrots, corn. I wasn't at the outset concerned about the possible effects of GM plants, he says, on human health or the environment. One reason for his lack of concern was that it was still a very young scientist, feeling my way in the complex world of biology and of scientific research. Another reason was that we hardly imagined that GMOs like ours would be grown or eaten. So far as I was concerned, all GMOs were for research purposes only. Gradually, however, it became clear that the certain companies thought differently. And GMO risk assessments is a flawed process. They're lying about the dangers. Monsanto has a team of lawyers that their number one goal is to squash anybody questioning the safety of Monsanto created seeds, like the ones that are Roundup ready, that have glyphosate capabilities of sucking glyphosate in, which is a dangerous tumor-causing ingredient in this mix. So when the assessment process is flawed, you can't get a real study. You can't really determine what's safe and what's not. And that's pretty much true with the entire FDA, in my opinion. They make some bad decisions. They need a major reform. I'd be willing to fire everybody at the FDA. Fire the IRS, the FDA, the EPA. Let's start with the CDC. Who else should we fire? The FAA and the FCC. Let's start with that. Fire all of them. Bingo. Yeah. Let's start with that. We don't need the IRS. We don't need the FDA. They make bad decisions. They don't protect the human health of people that are eating food. Yeah, so think of all the money I'm going to save by firing all these organizations. Oh, did I mention, one other. CPS. The CPS organization, we're going to integrate local law enforcement with family issues. That would be much better than what we have now. Hi, Sarah.
Hello. Good home.
Well, that's great. Hey, you're wearing your warm wool coat. Cool.
Hello.
Hello. Yes, so we're taking in a lot of stuff tonight and processing information rapidly. Police raids in Paris foiled a potential attack, they said. Again,
Good.
well, we can't confirm that they're doing anything. I mean, there's scant evidence that anything is really being done. There's nobody checking to see if these issuances by international authorities like Interpol are actually verified. So we, as consumers of information, are sitting here going, oh, okay, we're supposed to believe everything we hear. Okay. But apparently Meow TV lived right near where this group was allegedly, the mastermind of the terrorist attack was hanging out. And Gary Shandling has passed away. The legendary humorist, Gary Shandling.
I kind of never found him funny.
I'm not ignoring you. Yeah, I didn't find him funny either. We have that in common. Jackson, we're not in any way ignoring you. Jackson says, Dave, hello, Dave. Dave, I have a question.
Hi, Jackson.
What's your question?
You're being watched. You are being watched.
What is your question, Jackson? All eyes on Jackson. I'm not being rude to you. You feel neglected. Candy Rain told me to turn guest chat off because she felt that was smart, and I think she's absolutely right.
It helps, right?
It does, yeah.
I mean, then you can just be with like-minded individuals.
Yeah.
Especially since you banned the users that aren't like-minded. So then the only people that are here are like-minded. So that's good.
That's right.
Sounds good.
All right, we're back at... I'm just trying to figure out where the best place for this flag. How about underneath America's Third Party? That might be the best place for it.
Well, then you cover up the space needle. Okay, there's good. Yeah, that's good. Whatever. That's good in the corner.
All right. All right.
Fantastic.
We are fairly close to the Space Needle. We are out on the coastline. We're in an area called Whidbey Island, Washington, which is right near the Whidbey Island Naval Air Station, which is the central hub for electronic surveillance for the entire Pacific Ocean. And I want to thank the young men and women who are fighting in the Navy and the Marines and the Air Force to defend our nation, and the Army. I want to make sure that they know that I respect the military, and I will not cut jobs when I become president. We're going to keep the number right where it is. Barack Obama said he's going to cut 500,000 over a 10-year period. We have 2 million people working. I don't want to cut anybody. We've got a good volunteer force, and it's working. So why would we want to cut something that's working? But we can better utilize our military, and we can replace the TSA at airports with our existing National Guard and Coast Guard and save about $7 billion a year doing that. That would be good. But I want to phase out the TSA and bring in plainclothes military. I think it's much better. They're much more trained, and they won't sit there and grope you when you walk through the airport. We want to fast track the airport experience for Americans so that you don't sit there and get groped and have to go through rapid scanners and get radiation. So a lot of changes would occur. As president, I would automatically start making cuts in the budget. And like I said, those cuts would include cutting major number of employment at various agencies.
Yes, indeed, Meow TV2. Yes, indeed.
I believe we've got a very dysfunctional government that's pretty much wasting your tax dollars. That's the premise behind this third party. These organizations that I'm going to be cutting, a lot of their funding and a lot of their workers will save the government a lot of money and will help get this country to run under budget. Fire the IRS. That's right. And all the others.
And then put a dash at the end.
Yeah.
Thank you, David Nation.
Fire. Well, Rick Larson can't be fired. He's a House representative. He's got a permanent salary the rest of his life. In fact, if he doesn't get reelected, he's going to make $160,000 a year for the rest of his life. I'm going to do.
I'm just going to click on Scissor Fights link.
Okay, thank you. The magnets of the future, polymagnets. Okay, let's take a look at that. Sarah's going to look at that article. I'm going to get some coffee, and I'll be right back. This is from Interesting Engineering. Okay.
Okay.
David, your casting is starting to look like the CNN channel, really? Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I'm trying to make it a little bit better for you with the technology available to us. Yeah, I don't think the CDC is doing a good job either. I mean, all they do is make unnecessary vaccinations and then force them upon people. All right, I'll be right back.
Okay, so polymagnets. As you know, most magnets have a positive and negative side. When you bring two magnets together, they attract or repel each other, depending on the types of poles that are facing each other. You should know opposites attract and like poles repel. So here's, so they have a conventional magnet, a medium reach polymagnet, and a tight reach polymagnet. So in polymagnets, one face of the magnet can have several poles, not just one. Interesting. The magnetic fields differ significantly compared to an ordinary magnet. Wow. So then the magnetic fields tend to be small and accumulated on the surface of the magnet, since no magnetic field has to travel all the way back to the other face of the magnet. Wow. There's one of these that's called a spring. Let's look at this spring action. Mind-blowing.
Hey, it's me, Destin. Welcome back to Smarter Every Day. You might not know this, but every single
Okay. Smarter every day. Yeah, they have like multiple poles right next to each other. That's kind of cool. All right. A polymagnet attracts and repels at the same time. You would think it does nothing, but they say printable magnets. Okay. All right. You're talking about production. They read what? You're assessing equipment, not the talent. Thank you. I have a lot of American cousins who unfortunately don't go to social sites. They're almost or past David's age. You tell them about it. Thank you very much. Okay. He flips one and they all fold over onto it. No problem. All right. Okay, thank you. Yes. So polymagnets. Interesting. They can print specific magnetic designs on the surface of a magnet. Huh. So then they mess with the magnetic field. It's interesting. We'll see what happens with this. Magnetic viewing. Okay. All right. That's neodymium magnets. Okay. You have some earth magnets, neodymium. Pretty cool. Hi, Mad Dog. Hi, Mad Dog. Hi, Mad Dog. Thank you for saying hi to me. I'm sorry I didn't say hi to you earlier. I was looking at the magnets. The mind-blowing magnets. Oh, these have different magnetic fields. Interesting. What? So it gives you a stronger field close to the magnet, a stronger force. It's closer to the magnet. Interesting. I know, I thought you would find this interesting. Alexis, amazing emotion slide. It's a, what, stealth mode? Alexis in stealth mode? Oh my goodness. Hello, Antique. How have you been? Is it Laura? Is it, I forget. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. Huh. Okay. Hello. Is that right? Did I get her name right? Pretty interesting. Interesting. Leah. I was close. At least I got the L right. Sorry, Leah. Leah's like, Laura is not anywhere near Leah. Sorry, Leah. Alright. I could remember you by remembering the name Rebecca, and then I could... Rebecca and Leah. They were two, Rebecca and Leah were two, I've seen those spring kind of things happen with just regular magnets. That's cool. Who is Leah? Leah's Antique's new girlfriend. That's who Leah is. Alright, I'll go off this guy for a moment. Yeah, you can make a spring with like just regular donut magnets. I think he's chopping up something to eat. Yeah, exactly. So, radar scan of Shakespeare's grave confirms his skull is apparently missing. Interesting. I don't know. Did he show a loudspeaker combined? You could have a cabinet door that came together with soft close or with some. He says you could some shock absorption, but then you could twist it to lash and let's see. Oh, that's cool. That is pretty cool. Alright, sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not supposed to look at the screen. I should have showed you guys that video. That would be cool, because then you would all be staring at the screen when I was staring at the screen, which was pretty cool. Which is pretty cool. You just asked a question. Oh, alright, sorry if people are calling you names. They invented program magnets. They can take a blank magnet and create whatever magnetic field you can imagine. That is so cool. The future of magnetism. I'm totally going to play this video. Oh goodness, I have to pick up the phone or something. Alright, no problem. Alright. In the news. Candy's not here for that. Maybe you are, Tabasco sauce. Tabasco sauce? I mean, I'm not the one she would be hitting on, right? She'd be probably hitting on David. No. Alright. 6 people were arrested in raids that were connected to the Brussels attacks as questions continue to persist. I know, Candy's married. But, yeah. Anyway. So, Gary Shandling had a 1977 near-death experience, which led him to become, to take comedy seriously. Interesting. Yes, true. The minority of terrorists is becoming pretty big. Never gonna happen, Jacket Pockets. Delightfully impractical cars you can't buy. It's cute. When does the show end? Trying to watch it all tonight. David usually goes the whole thing. I usually go until 9, and then David usually goes till like 10. And then I'm not on here all the time till 9. And then I usually do 6:30 to 7, but tonight I came in at 6:40, or 6:50, so then I'll go till 7:20. And then anyway, David will be here till about 10 o'clock. And then he'll play videos beyond that and sometimes chat in the room and sometimes not. Yeah, he was on till like 3 a.m. last night. Not always live, but definitely playing videos that late. A man was killed after taking his ex-girlfriend hostage at a Home Depot in Los Angeles. The woman was rushed to the hospital. Wow. In Redlands, California. All right. In North Carolina, there's a law that's barring anti-discrimination measures to draw some backlash.
Yeah, all right. I'm going to cook some
Okay.
some of those no nitrate dogs on the stove with some onions. And I noticed that you bought some really good bagels. These look good.
Yeah, I bought some milk.
Okay,
I
great.
just stopped by Safeway and they had a deal.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I mean, we can't always control what we eat. But, when GMOs are not tested properly and they're being pushed on us everywhere now in all of our diets, I feel that we need some real quick oversight. And, I would love to, think that, if we act locally and think globally, everything will work out. Well, I ran for a local office and I was slammed by the Democrats, Republicans. They literally hated me. I mean, 90% of my signs stolen. I mean, if you think you're going to act locally and think globally, it's not going to work. We have to act quickly to get accountability on GMOs, on fluoride in our water system. There's no need for it. We need to pull that out of our municipal water system right now. And that means tap water will not go with fluoride in it when you drink a soda. At least the fluoride will be taken out of the tap water in your sodas. I would like to see all water going into beverages filtered. I can't believe we haven't done anything to this day to do that. Netflix is now in 130 new countries and is taking over the world.
Wow.
The government gave Netflix free bandwidth, basically. And Netflix comprises nearly 60% of the bandwidth on the internet. So it's like we're giving Netflix a free ride, and Carl Icahn is benefiting. He made a major investment, over $170 million in Netflix stock when it was cheap. So you can imagine he's reaping the rewards there. But why are we giving Netflix all this free bandwidth? I don't get that. Here, let's just drop out of this. Hang on. Was that from that plugin?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Sometimes it just happens on one. Did we do a cowbell yet, or everyone's waiting on their cowbell?
Cowbell?
Yeah, the cowbell. If they don't have the cowbell every 15 minutes, they start to get nervous. It makes them feel better.
I'll have to learn how to do that, Candy.
Is it soothing to have the cowbell? That's what they've been asking for, the cowbell for the past few weeks, so I got them the cowbell.
Thank you.
Dave, I think I found the dumbest human walking the planet. Sheila Jackson Lee. What's going on with her? You think she's dumb, huh? Yeah, many people are realizing that the rich internet is growing, finally. And yes, Candy is the original spot-on girl, Jackson. That's right, Jackson. But technically, Sarah is the first spawn-on girl, so she takes she's a significant part of my life. So I can't really say that you're not. But yeah, Candy was very supportive of me in 2008 and made a video, and we have it still in the archives. We'll play it for you sometime. So Gary Shandling died at 66. Somebody said he was worth $17 million. I don't know what he did over the past 10 years. I haven't heard much from him. I don't know if he's been involved in many productions. Maybe he was working behind the scenes. Maybe he had a very busy life. I don't know. Best free online courses to improve digital skills. Look at that.
Where?
Right here. Say no to that. That must have opened up the Internet Explorer browser. You just clicked a link and it opened Internet Explorer. That's weird. What did you just do? Click
I
down
don't know.
here.
It was open earlier.
Okay. Yeah, so this is interesting. Best free online courses that improve your digital skills. Now you do code.org/learn.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you recommend. Let me move that in the center of the screen here. All right, so you eat more chicken. There you go. No doubt we are now living in the most technologically advanced state the world has ever experienced. Everything is becoming digital and online, but sometimes you don't necessarily know how to use certain software, apps, and programs, and let us tell you something, it's okay. You don't have to know everything, but you could try and do the following courses to improve your digital skills. This is good. Everyone's suffering from this curve of growth in their knowledge base. It's very daunting when you face computer innovations like we've seen over the past 15 years. Polymagnets, that was a good discussion we had earlier. Yeah. So WordPress for beginners, that's what I should use. I'm really kind of awkward now. I used to do website design, but since website design's gotten so much more complicated, I feel like a little bit, it's kind of like overwhelmed. So we found a couple programs that I can use and develop websites on that are more comfortable, but it's getting to be almost the old what you see is what you get browsers, and the software that you use to create website design has not really been successful. It didn't keep up. So you literally have to go into programs like we use Drupal, but it offers a variety of free services so you can build a website without having to pay big bucks. But the what you see is what you get online interfaces are cool. The online website building tools you get when you get a website design. When you order a web domain, they usually give you a trial period for free where you can use their utility. And in some cases, they give you a free utility for one website. So I'm looking forward to actually using one of those free utilities myself. But there's all kinds of ways around the internet, tweaking the internet. You can work around your limitations in code by using plugins and widgets. Mm-hmm. That's something worthy of talking about. Plugins and widgets, whenever you see those things, are easy to drop into your web page.
This is what you could use, Wix.com.
Oh, thanks for sharing. 9 out of 10 broken shells. That was devastating, JPF. You bought some taco shells and you were really bummed out. You had a bad taco shell evening. That's too bad. And some people are starving to death. Yeah, we've become a little too fat and sassy, if you ask me. America is really, we're very fortunate to have this great nation. Let's keep it and keep the incredibly elite from destroying it like they're trying to do. Dave needs a consumer protection plan against supermarkets. What are they not doing for you that you need them to do? Supermarkets are doing a good job. I think the grocers in America are pretty competitive, I must say. Bummed? I was downright pissed off. So you were stamping around with your broken taco shells, JPF. That's amazing. Yeah, make nachos out of them. And you don't just throw food away. Unless that's GMO corn. Was that non-GMO taco shell? Because that's worth keeping. The GMO corn, you might as well compost that. Seriously, guys. There's links between GMO corn products now and sterility. Gals, too. Guys and gals. Hey there, buckaroo. You don't want to get sterile eating that GMO corn. Yeah. Seriously. Check it out. I'll play you a video later. Thanks, Ann, for sharing. Oh, that's great. So you put your supporting ATP in your grow light room where you're growing marijuana. That's kind of a cool picture, though, I gotta admit. And Ann, you need a license to do that in Washington. Otherwise, it's totally illegal. That means you have to pay $1,250, I believe, or $1,200 something. You can't just grow it if you're in the state of Washington. You have to be licensed. Okay, just so you know that. All right. You stopped drinking alcohol? Good. Jackson's cleaning up. That's good.
Good.
I don't see why alcohol has such an appeal. People love drinking, and I just don't know. It's poison. It's a mild form of poison, alcohol is. And I've met people that, have become addicted to alcohol in my life, and it's just kind of drifted away from me. I mean, I don't have friends that I used to have because they're like, "How you doing, Dave? I'm pretty good. I'm just looking for a gal. I haven't been laid in 20 years." It's like, dude, stop drinking. Yeah, it might improve your life. Seriously, alcohol and sugar are actually building blocks of an organism, but it's also the building blocks of poison. So, really? Subarachu did that? Well, I drink coffee, so I'm obviously addicted to caffeine, but Sarah's addicted to surfing the internet. So.
I am. Oh, sorry. I was even gonna share.
No, I don't mind. I don't. As long as you're having fun, we can share what you're learning online. Yeah, so let's fire the IRS, the FDA. The FDA's got a lot of weird things going on with those missing holistic doctors, all dead. And the EPA, with that leak in Colorado with the gold, all that cyanide. And the CDC with all their endless vaccination attempts, which are not proven to be safe. And the FAA with their massive cost to jet travel. It's costing jet travel a lot just to have the FAA. And the FCC, talk about useless. They haven't even laid fiber optics the final mile to our house. A lot of you are wondering when that final mile is going to come. Well, there is an advance coming because the internet is, of course, a utility now, according to the FCC. And 3-2 vote ruled in last year that the internet will be run like a utility. So they want their little fingers to dig in, and they're still not coming up with any infrastructure. But they are going to probably make it so that Google can compete with your local cable company in delivering you internet access. Internet service provider will be Google. And I think that's the doorway that our government and the elitists and the military, the DARPA, really want to control the internet. They want to control the architecture of the internet so they can create an intranet, and then they can control the intranet like China does. So when I talk about these things, I'm not giving you approval. I'm just saying, hey, this is what's going down. So I anticipate having unbelievably low price deals on internet service for a while with fiber optics. I believe this is perhaps like 2 to 5 years away, but we're probably surely going to get 100 megabyte per second download speeds across the board. But it will take a major shift like Google doing that. Because right now, they're the old Ma Bell group that broke up, General Telephone, now known as Frontier, they are just not laying the lines. I called the fiber optic people over there, and I got this one woman on the phone. It was weird. She said, she sounded drunk. I said, "Hi, is this fiber optics? Are you the guys in charge of, doing? I've noticed your truck is kind of rusty." And she said, and this is like 5 years ago. She said, "Oh, you got a sexy voice. I just want to know how fast I can get a fiber optic laid in my area." "Oh, you want to get laid?"
What?
Yeah, she was totally out of it.
Conservative legal watchdogs have discovered new emails from Hillary Clinton's private email server dating back to the first days of her tenure as Secretary of State. The previously undisclosed February 2009 emails between Clinton from her then Chief of Staff Cheryl Mills raised new questions about the scope of emails from Clinton's early days in office that were not handed over to the State Department for record keeping.
Hang on.
May have been lost entirely.
I
Clinton's
just.
presidential campaign has previously claimed that the former top diplomat did not use her personal
We've got a live audio stream coming through
account
here.
before 2009, weeks after
No,
she
don't
was
do that.
sworn in
Don't do
as
that.
Secretary of
I'm
State.
trying to
We're
find
trying to
it.
find the audio stream.
Judicial Watch
It's from a
released
web
one
page
message
somewhere.
from February 13th
Go
of
Control Alt, hang
2009,
on.
in which Mills communicated with Clinton on the account to discuss the
That stopped it. Okay. Okay, Duncan is calling in. He's going to tell us some good news. Duncan, go ahead. What is it?
Actually, it's gonna be very good for your campaign because a Superior Court judge here in the state of Georgia has decided that the 50,000 signature limit to be on the write-in ballot, at least the write-in ballot as a third-party candidate, is unconstitutional.
Really?
Yay.
Yay, Georgia. Right on. That's great.
So what happened next is that the Superior Court judge has put in a signature, his own signature limit that will only be applied for the 2016 presidential race. We don't know what it's going to be next go round,
Okay.
we don't know how this is going to affect local races, but he did set a new limit of, instead of 50,000, he put only a limit of 7,500.
Okay, so
Nice,
7,500 is
7,500 signatures.
to get in on the
Georgia.
ballot in Georgia. Okay. We've got a really, that's really good. That's really good. We've got a fairly low number here in Washington, too.
Yeah.
But we have to have a gathering of at least 100 people in one location in a 3-hour period to get signatures. Or we do it over a 7-day period of 1,000. So 7,500 is great in Georgia, big state of Georgia. Great. Good news, Duncan.
This is only for the 2016 election, though.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
They'll change the laws for
But
20.
I would assume you still have to make a few phone calls to the next go round, but they haven't passed anything yet, and right now it'll be 7,500.
Okay. Well, you guys can start getting
Party
contact.
and the Constitution Party won the case.
Oh, good. The Constitution
Good.
Party won the case.
Nice job, Constitution
Well, if
Party.
you want to call your Secretary of State and get a petition to get me on the ballot, just feel free to do that. If the phone number is on our website now, it's the old site link. Just go to the old site link, and then you'll find Georgia, and that'll help you get the petition. So,
All
great.
right. We tried to get the petition last time, and remember Brian Kemp didn't answer the phone.
Right.
So we're
Yeah.
gonna have to take other measures.
Sometimes you have to call the Attorney General.
It's a good step in the right direction.
It is a good step in the right direction. I really appreciate it, Duncan. Sometimes you have to call the Attorney General if the Election Commission doesn't answer, and because they're the next people that actually oversee the event, the Attorney General. So, and they'll usually get the election secretary or the Secretary of State to respond. But sometimes you got to get in their face because not a lot of people are doing this. Constitution Party is one of the
I
few.
know.
Yeah. Good.
And it might for the name that I don't know if it's for the write-in or I don't even know. It may even be for a real choice on the actual ballot.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that would be really good.
That's
They
even
haven't
better.
really released what it's going to be, what it is. They just said 7,500 is going to be the number, and that's going to be it.
Wow, that's
Great.
great.
Thank you.
That's fantastic.
Jackson got 8 people to write me in before the April 5th primary. That's cool. Thank you, Jackson.
Cool.
Oh,
Thank
good,
you.
good, very good, very good. So I thought I'd call in and tell you the news, and I hope you all are doing well, and we'll see what we can get going because this sounds like a very good opportunity.
Yes, we definitely we need that opportunity.
And it probably will not be this low again.
I know.
Yeah.
It will never be that low. So this is a good opportunity. You're right. Thank you.
So it's either do or die, and with this number, and now's the opportunity to start trying to get something going.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've got to get my big goal for 2016 was to get mainstream media attention. That was what I set out in 2008 to do. I had no idea that I would face so much censorship up until now. So I'm still working on that goal. But getting me on the ballot is a pathway to getting mainstream media attention. And for an average American to get heard is almost impossible in this society. It's crazy.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know it, and it's bad in Georgia regarding that in that category because usually more of the conservatives and more of the big two-party folks, they want it for themselves. They don't want to do what's right for the constituents. They just want to do what they want for themselves.
You're right. It's got to come from the people.
It has to be actual signatures written by hand. Online petitions are not valid.
Right.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for calling.
Thank you so much. Take care, Duncan.
Absolutely, sir. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Great call. Wow. Good news from Georgia. Yeah. So we are challenged. I'm in an almost completely Democratic Republican enclave out here. The independent votes are really sparse. We're getting very little independent activity in Washington because it's mostly controlled by Democrats. And the Republicans have always been the other alternative. So we're having a real problem. We're right in the heart of little Soviet Union right now. We're in Bernie land basically, and then the Hillary people are actually defacing the Bernie signs in our area. I saw a Bernie sign that was completely defaced down near here, and I'm almost positive it's the Hillary people that are defacing the Bernie signs.
Yeah.
And I'm not Bernie, I'm not Hillary. It's really difficult. The two parties are eating each other up here, and people aren't realizing an independent one is an alternative. But maybe if we had a convention this year, we have a 2-month period, we can do 4 conventions within a 2-month period and get 1,000 signatures to get on the ballot here, which is a pretty good deal. Mm-hmm. That's the only way we can get on as a minor party.
Yeah.
So, all right. Excellent. Yeah, Change.org has got a big coalition, but they're mostly funneled right into the Democrats' hands. Bernie's carrying the socialists all the way in there.
No, we're right. We're voting for David.
Hi, Kylo.
We're voting for.
We're all voting for me. Thank you for coming in, Kylo.
Thank you. I'm going to take a little break.
Definitely make one of those bagels for yourself, and this cream cheese in there, and I've got a slow thing on the burner there. So this is a vertical windmill idea that in an expanded version, just solar panels could be installed on these electric poles as well. But the concept is very real that we could actually generate electricity at as low as 5 miles per hour winds. And it'd be great to have that type of technology in the background so that we wouldn't have to run into a shortage of energy like we have so many times before. And our government's really mismanaging energy, per se. They really are. The cost of your electricity shouldn't be going up, it should be going down. But for some reason they're scaling it up. And this is all because of the oil and coal lobby. Okay, so Starbucks is going to donate 100% of their unsold food in America. Wow, where are they going to donate it? Locally? Okay, let's take a look at that. Thanks. Yeah, I'm not big on Soros. I'll tell you, even though I support legalization of marijuana 100%, I don't want his money. The guy he's got his fingers in so many leftist groups that he reeks of Marxism. And I don't want that for this country at all. Okay. Starbucks wants to donate all of its leftover food. The company said Tuesday it's aimed at 100%. Well, see, they've got a lot of stuff in Starbucks that you just don't want to eat. I don't even understand their business model. When you go in there, most bratisserias or bakeries or anything like that attracts people with the smell of bread cooking. Seriously. Without that smell of bread, people aren't driven to go. So they've got a lot of food sitting around that gets old, 3 or 4 days old. I know, it's just like, can you imagine spending $5 for a scone that it tastes like it's like brick? Yeah, they need to get much fresher food in there. I can't believe their business model hasn't figured that out by now. I mean, at the very least, put a toaster oven in there. I mean, come on. I mean, people want to smell that. They love that smell of bread. It's such a draw. It would definitely beat the competition. I just can't imagine them not making a decision to do that. But I'm glad that they're offering their donated food. These are carbs. Yeah, it didn't come from the Starbucks corner office. It came from baristas behind the counter. Our people just felt so badly, and this has been going on for quite some time. And so we are starting doing our homework, municipality by municipality. And the CEO, Howard Schultz, said in an interview, they're going to donate 100% of all their old, disgusting carbs that nobody wants to buy. So all their GMO food is going to be donated. Isn't that nice? That's special. Hey, bat bugs. Bat bugs, bats bugs. You're in. Sanders does remind me of Woody Allen, but without the funny part. You know, like I was talking about, you know, how I wasn't really that thrilled about Jewish comedy anymore. And it just didn't cut it, you know. Robin Williams was the last one I think I've laughed at, but he was a pretty good Jewish comedian. There's not a lot of white Anglo-Saxon Protestant comedian work out there, if you noticed. All right. Yeah, Bernie is pretty funny. Good night, Sunstar. You're going to bed? You're the smart one here. Oh, you're resting up. That's smart. That's not funny, Kylo. Maybe to you it is. Well, anyway, it's this program we have here of creating vertical windmills is just one of the many things that we've talked about for our show. And the future could be something as cool as that. But we also have another idea, that's the seawater pipeline. And the seawater pipeline, I think, could bring water, fresh water to California and solve this tremendous drought that we have. Yeah. We've got a tremendous drought. You see the grin? You're laughing? I'm not laughing. The drought in California is, I don't know, you guys may not know this, but it's artificially being engineered with weather modification. So there's something very nefarious going on in California. It's weird. We've got a lot of people on our show that are down in LA, and they're seeing chemtrails that push away water. And up here we've got chemtrails that suck water in. And this has been going on. This technology has been used for so long that they've never asked the American people, can we do this? They've never discussed it publicly. But there's secret plans going on within our government without our knowledge. The dumping crap in the air for whatever reason. And I can tell you lots of reasons. But for whatever reason, they've never discussed it. Kylo, this is a serious subject. And it's so serious to me, Kylo, that I expand out on almost every night now talking about chemtrails. I'm the only candidate that actually wants to prevent them from happening. Yeah, to deny that this is happening is to stare at what appears to be like the worst possible nightmare on Earth. Right in front of your very eyes. Here's the best chemtrails of 2016. And I'm going to play this for you in the background so you can take a look. So this water solution here.
This is freaking heinous.
This water solution that I have, this fresh water solution, it doesn't matter what kind of chemicals are in the air. It'll create fresh water by bringing seawater into the middle of these modules, and evaporation takes place. And depending on what we do inside, we can create evaporators that can create more water, but we can generate 2 to 3 gallons a day in each one of these units at the very minimum, which means there's water out of the seawater that we bring in there. Let's take a look at all these chemtrails. Now, these are things that you would see normally if you were tuned into what's happening around you. But many of you look at the sky and think, well, this is just wonderful. This is how the air is supposed to be.
We'll be able to starve millions of Americans and to control the rest. Would you explain what you were trying to say?
Well, what I was trying to say is exactly what I said. There is weather control techniques. We have a complete package on that, which I did not bring, but I certainly will see to it that it is brought in for the record. Number one, the entire patents on the equipment. Number two, Senator Claiborne Pell's complete statement and story of his own that not only does it exist, but that we even utilized it as far back as the Vietnam War. You might want to touch base with Senator Pell.
I just want to repeat before I turn it.
So yes, but we do have all that information.
You're saying the government created weather tampering techniques so that the, quote, New World Order will be able to starve millions of Americans.
Worldwide.
Millions of Americans, and to control the rest.
Yes, sir, and that's my belief. As bizarre as that sounds, when if somebody had told me that that equipment even existed 10 years ago, I would have thought they were nuts, sir. And at this point in time, we have all the documents to prove it. And if you think that 85 tornadoes takes place in the middle of our growing area by simultaneous accident, I'm sorry. With the equipment that's already set up internationally, and as bizarre as that is, it is proven and documented. We will supply you with those documents. As bizarre as that is, I would say that weather wars, and this is quoting actually Senator Claiborne Pell himself, that they are the greatest weapon ever created in the world, and that's the senator's own statement. So yes, I do stand on that.
All right, yeah, so this is it. Weather wars are going on, and Kylo is in denial. He doesn't realize. Yeah, even Bostonians telling Kylo that his environmental geography liberal professor confirmed they are legit. Yeah, so everyone's waking up to the chemtrail thing. Don't worry about it, but everyone's waking up to the chemtrail thing. If you're waking up slower than others, that's okay. I didn't believe it when my mother was listening to Art Bell back in the 80s saying, David, what do you know about these contrails or chemtrails? I said, well, I guess it's condensation coming out of the back of jets, Mom. I just blew it off. And then more and more I realize this is happening everywhere, and they are literally trying to geoengineer the weather to create the drought, to weaken the economy in California, and force our nation into a kind of a tough bind. And so we're really fighting globalist elitists who are not only controlling the media, controlling the political scene, the two-party system, but also the weather and the air we're breathing. It's really kind of amazing. And many of you will wake up over time. You'll realize that I'm doing the right thing by exposing this. I'm even taking it a step further, and I'll be telling you about that later once I'm able to share. But the effort out there to talk about these things, this ridiculous use of chemicals in the air, there has been no discussion. There's been no peer review of this technique. This is being used. They're using technology that was developed as far back as the 1800s with Nikola Tesla and his electromagnetic stimulation of the ionosphere. So they're using some pretty heady, weird stuff like arrays of antennas to gyrate the atmosphere and move weather wherever they want, using chemicals and electricity simultaneously. Wow. So yeah, there's a lot of people that are kind of freaked out about this right now. But it's another reason to drive people toward a third party. Why not? I'm the only candidate running who is actually going to try to stop this this endless misuse of our environment. I felt a calling as a child when I read Rachel Carson's Silent Spring in the early 60s. And I knew that there was something very, very wrong going on in the world I was born into. But we've got solutions for you. You know, obviously this seawater pipeline is a good idea. But it requires mass production of modules that will break down the seawater and turn it into there we go, and turn it into fresh water. You see, when the seawater evaporates, it lands on the inside of the dome, and the fresh water that collects on the inside of the dome, the salt stays inside the center section, but the fresh water stays on the side, and we store that in reservoirs that can be stored and used for potable drinking and growing food purposes. Hey, Sheep Slayer Dave, how are you doing? Long time. Thanks for coming in. You know, the name brand of the no nitrate dogs is Oscar Mayer. It's a brand new product that they couldn't sell, and they were selling in my local area. They're chicken dogs. And apparently people want nitrates. So these were in the wholesale food section. I got them for 50 cents a hot dog pack. So dinner is 50 cents, the meat department is tonight. Yeah, I have to move the pan, so she likes them really blackened or kind of like darkened. So I'm going to turn them in about 15, 20 minutes. Sarah would not eat hot dogs at all, and she's convinced me not to buy the regular hot dogs. And she's absolutely right. I mean, she's the one who would never eat hot dogs. But hey, when you're looking at the cost of a steak at, $6.99 a pound just to get some beef, you're looking at new forms of protein that might work for you. I'm not into spending a lot of money on food. I really am not. And it's one of the ways I've been able to save over the years, is by buying conservatively at the grocer. A lot of you guys who have kids are spending upwards of $500 a month. A week. There was a guy in our room recently who has 6 kids, and he spends $500 a week on food. I don't know how much you guys are spending. Yeah, I agree. Campfire, ballpark. Yeah, I know the feeling. Hot dogs are really good when you're in New York City and you go up to a vendor and you grab a hot dog filled with toxic waste from the Trade Center attack, and you dig right in. That's the real kind of hot dog. The kind Donald likes to eat. College students mentally and emotionally damaged by name in chalk, yet they were okay with the BLM written in chalk all over their same campus. Yeah, I know. The BLM thing is a case in point of, Black Lives Matter and All Lives Matter went up against him, and it was a massive conflict. I mean, it's ridiculous. Our nation has become so soft and politically correct that we won't even let people talk about their issues that they have about black, white, Hispanic, or anything. So instead of free speech, we're shunning speech, and we're literally preventing a dialogue. And this is bleeding out into our mainstream media. So now, obviously, we've got chemtrail discussions never mentioned in the mainstream media. They never talk about it. It's like, who cares? Fire the IRS. Lack of dialogue, that's the thing. Yes, tomorrow is Friday. So in order to pave the way for a technology that I'm proposing, I'm looking at developing our air filtration technology. That's something that I'm kind of interested in. And I've been interested in this for about 25 years, so it doesn't help just to be interested in something. You actually have to do something. I pitched a group of venture capitalists back in the 80s on air filtration systems for the automobile, and it didn't go anywhere. All my letters were rejected by venture capitalists. They want to see things working. And one of my proposals is to actually develop technology. Even as president, I would develop technology to filter the air in your car, so that when you're driving down the road, you're able to get clean air, even if it's just a cigarette lighter plug-in, and you can set a unit next to you on your chair while you run your air conditioner. I've been in traffic numerous times, and I can tell you it pretty much sucks to have air pollution coming at you and you can't control it, and you have no way of cleaning the air inside your car. I was in a nightmare situation in New York one year, visiting some relatives that I'll never visit again because I'm done with them. I'm sorry I even have relatives like this, but I was in the Cross Bronx Expressway for 3 hours. Is stuck in traffic, trying to go visit them in Long Island, like they could care less. And we sat there in a rental car, and we were breathing diesel for 3 hours because of a massive, construction project going on just to get through New York. It was insane. I don't know how many people, like sitting in traffic and breathing fumes. So creating technologies that filter air and do it effectively and create solutions for the American people, that's what we need. We don't need products that are wasteful and unnecessary. We need products that are built to last. So anticipate new innovations that will help provide cleaner air and cleaner water at a cheaper price. That's what I'm hoping for. American made should be built to last like it used to be. All right, let's see if we can connect to somebody in the chat room. I'm glad that we haven't had negative stuff, and thank you, Candy Rain, for suggesting that I get rid of guest chat. That was really very, very important. Guests have been abusive. They actually think that this is some sort of a game, that I'm doing this is a comedy show or something. You've been out of Pennsylvania, really? Wow. You're missing out. You've never been to Vegas or anything like that? I've met people that have never gotten 20 miles outside of the city they were born. I'm amazed. That's why all of New England is so wonderful, north of Boston, because the people in Boston and New York don't realize they're that close to nature. They are absolutely, within 300 miles, they can be in the middle of nature. So most people are kind of clinging near the city all their lives. It's kind of amazing. Well, I'm working on the sheep, man. I even got my shepherd's, I showed it. Yeah, I'll show you this. I picked up my shepherd's wand. This thing really goes far. We have to pull him in. I'm just being a good shepherd tonight. Yeah. I'm doing pretty well. It's been a challenge, Sheep Slayer. We've had a lot of censorship on this network. And I didn't know why, but until I found out Mark is actually a big Trump supporter. Good night, Mad Dog. You're going to bed? Okay. Good night, John Boy. Well, I'll try to save you, that's for sure. We've got so many imbeciles that are thinking Trump is the guy, and Trump has got all kinds of weird policies. He borrowed 6 of my ideas, and then he changed them, and he wants to build a wall. He refuses to build a fence. My idea of a fence is way more doable. And he wants to actually allow some refugees in now, he says. He said he cares about the poor refugees from Syria now. He said that in the second to the last debate. So I was like, why are you now changing your position on the refugees? I say no refugees should be allowed in this country, period. And I stick to that. I will keep them in Ellis Island or any other place, and then we'll give them a short trial by a border patrol officer who's been turned into a federal judge. Any border patrol officer central in command could be made into a federal judge, and we can give everybody a trial right there at the border. That's as simple as that. And this was Sarah's idea. Great idea. But Donald doesn't have any of these ideas. He wants to have Mexico pay for it. Really? Mexico said they're not going to pay a effing penny for the fence. No way. Thank you. So Trump just missed the mark, and then when he wanted to ID all the Muslims in America, he crossed over the bridge. He didn't read the Constitution. He doesn't understand U.S. policy. So having a rich guy with limited knowledge is dangerous in our nation right now. Very dangerous. And to not have any representation in the media all these years for all that we've been doing, and to be considered a bizarre fringe candidate when we've got great ideas for the country, shows you how disconnected our government, our media, and our people are. Thanks, Mama June, for coming in. All right. Yeah, and Trump just seems like he's lying through his teeth everywhere he goes. Like he says he has $10 billion. I'd like him to prove it. I really would. I'd like to see the balance sheet and see where that money really is. And has anybody told Donald Trump that he will have to report all of his income and all of his assets and put it in a public trust when he becomes president? Someone might want to brief him on that. He may not have been told. He doesn't seem like a guy who would be okay with that. All right. Chemtrails in the sky. Da, 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 da. Okay, so technology has been on standstill with this encryption issue with Apple. And today, the FBI, and Candy Rain brought this information to us earlier, the FBI said that they're just going to go after this one phone that this Muslim couple they alleged was in a shooting in San Bernardino had. They're going to focus on the one phone now. Because apparently the FBI were listening to John McAfee when he was talking about how to break into phones, because he's an authority on antiviruses and malware. And John McAfee, who's also running for president, he revealed that if they don't know this, they need to call him. So maybe they did call him and say, yeah, we just want to kind of get into this one phone. If you can believe those two people were the perpetrators of the San Bernardino alleged shootings. I've been seeing so much crap on the news without any evidence that is getting to be disturbing in general. Every time we see a big terrorist event, you have to almost take it with a grain of salt. Is it crying wolf? Is the media coming up with fake events to make us want to start a war? Are they trying to make us fearful of guns so that we would somehow disarm this great nation, which really has to keep its Second Amendment intact in order to maintain its greatness? It seems like they're pulling ploys left and right just to manipulate the public, I think. John McAfee was your high school teacher. Wow. Chelsea hits Obamacare's crushing costs. Wow. So Chelsea's out on the campaign trail for her mommy. Says her mother may fix it with an executive order. Hey, Boink. By the way, Boink, you have to be a U.S. citizen to donate, just so you know. Thank you. I realize you're from another country, so yeah, you can't donate from another country. Only U.S. citizens can donate. So this saves you some money, and you can keep some of Barlow's money for yourself. Chelsea hits Obamacare's crushing costs. Blasting the crushing costs of Obama's signature legislation. Tells a crowd that her mother, Hillary, is open to using executive action to reduce the crushing costs of Obamacare. Boy, talk about kissing some serious ass. Good for her. It's about time. Thanks. Oh, Man Dog, you're still here? I thought you were going to bed. Yeah. You think San Bernardino was real? All right. Well, why is it that there were multiple witnesses in the San Bernardino shooting who said that there were 3 shooters and they were white men wearing black outfits? How come they found this Muslim guy and his little short wife? I mean, come on. Do a search.
And kind of figuring out whether she could do that through executive action or she would need to do that through tax credits working with Congress. She thinks either of those will help solve the challenge.
How about repealing the entire Obamacare nightmare? How about getting some accountability from the Democrats for the mistakes that they made? Repealing this and that is like putting a Band-Aid over a gushing wound. Yeah, start searching, you sheep. Yeah, and I don't need a Marxist president like Hillary. I really don't. I mean, the last thing we need to do is have some sort of a insane collective concept where we're all forced to do whatever the collective says. And you know, the Democrats, they want a simple majority, 51% majority to make decisions for the American people. I'm against that wholeheartedly. I want a total supermajority, 2/3 making decisions that impact the rest of the country. 2/3 it has to be. Yeah. So there's lots of needs for green technology. I'm trying to come up with ideas to save money, so I came up with this blimp plane idea where we put blimps on top of our old 747s. And then that way they can go from LA to New York for $100. You should be able to go travel. Yeah, as opposed to $300 or $400. It's a good idea. And we'll turn these 747s into sleepers. Some of them will be sleepers, so you can stay overnight, meet somebody, hang out, have quick sex, whatever you're into. All right, let's see what we've got. Dave, can you take a look at this link? Okay. An Indian Catholic priest kidnapped in ISIS Yemen, crucified Good Friday, says the religious groups. Wow. Okay. Swamp? No, I have no mental problems at all. I consider myself super sane. That's the best way I describe myself to people. They say, Psychology Today did a study that found that people who actually entertain conspiracy theories are more sane than people that don't. It's a fact. So you should really reconsider yourself and decide whether you're insane if you don't ask questions. Okay? Yeah. Indian Catholic priest kidnapped by ISIS in Yemen may be crucified on Good Friday, says religious groups. And this is coming from the CIA's British authority, Daily Mail. Wow. Yeah, British Royal Intelligence works that angle. So they distribute all this ISIS, fear ISIS propaganda. Yeah, they're trying to start a war. They really want to have a war because they can't cover their massive debt that they've taken out. The credit card expansion of our economy has been going on all over the place, especially by the rich people. Well, I'm pissed off because not anybody in America can really get a public option. We're still waiting. And Hillary isn't even talking about a public option. Talk about moronic. Hillary, what a joke. I mean, Obama never fought for the public option. We've got a public option that's only $60 a month, which will give you full dental and full health care for each person in the family, $60 per person per month. That's affordable. And that's tied in with public doctors, monitored prices at all public hospitals, and our nonprofit hospitals, the networks of all the religious hospitals we have across the nation, United Methodist, Catholic, etc., will all be having limits on the prices they can charge you at the hospitals that take our plan. It's a complete public option set to bring in 20 million potential users the first year, which will pay $12 billion into the program and will be able to give you immediate service. That's what we're hoping to do. All right, let's talk about, the mainstream media has completely kept dialogue going about Trump constantly. So for me to not talk about Trump gives you an alternative way of looking at things. We don't have to just scream and call people names. And why the American people would want a person that screams and calls people names as their president is beyond me. No, I'm not willing to do the voiceover work. No, sorry. No. And you can't solicit me for voiceover work while I'm in the show because I'm running for president. So I don't set up deals on the side. I'm not like Hillary and the Hillary Clinton initiative. Well, we're going to give you the uranium mining rights of the entire Oregon Basin for a small donation to my campaign. You can imagine how that is. It ended up, Lavoy Finicum died as a result of all that. That was all about mining rights, The whole Lavoy Finicum Oregon standoff. That was about, he was defending his grazing rights against this predatory mining deal that Hillary set up with the Russians. Yeah, that's a little side note you may want to know about. But she's been, literally at the back pocket of so many corporate government deals you cannot even imagine. She is a whale, a political whale. Trump is like a shark. Trump is synonymous with a shark, or analogous to a shark. She's analogous to a whale. And she's big, and she's got dirt on a lot of people. Okay, we've got another cowbell request here. No, I'm not going to do that one, sorry. And I've got to go back and get the cowbell because we had a crash earlier. Here we go. Cowbell. Thank you. Okay, let's get the louder cowbell for all of you. There we go. Here we go. I'm so lucky they're not monetizing the cowbell. YouTube could make a lot of money on the cowbell if they could monetize it. Dear God. Yeah, I know. Can't stop because we won't stop. I can't play that song anymore. It really, it bums me out. I have to go to the mat with YouTube on this one. And they say in the deal that if I don't, it's ridiculous. If I don't actually win, if I don't prevail, they have the right to shut down my YouTube channel. Isn't that nice? You have the right to remain silent. If you say anything, you'll be, removed from reality. That's basically it. Danger. Yeah, it's just kind of weird that they've got this thing going. But we can play other songs, like Never Gonna Give You Up. This is a new one. A new one by Scissor Fight. Well, find me the link to the free music programs, because that's what he's using to make these, and they keep monetizing us. All right, yeah, got a lot of things to do. It's not fun. Got a lot of firing to do, a lot of things we have to change. Firing the IRS, ending the Fed, ending the FDA. God, there's so many things we have to do. It's almost too many. Never going to give you up. Thank you, Scissor Fight. Yeah, Scissor Fight uses a free program to make these things. And it's you could buy these programs too, and we were quite shocked we had a monetization request by YouTube, but this is something that's going on quite a bit. Ever since the Trans-Pacific Partnership was signed, our government has essentially caved in, and Google, being a representative of our government, pretty much, they're run by the government. In case you didn't know. Soundtrap, that looks good. Basically, they're making everything a monetization issue. Make music online, cool. That looks really good. Here's a new technology he just sent me, Soundtrap. Great. Yeah, so maybe I should do that. I'll download it tonight. We'll sign up and get on there, because I want to make online music, and I'm really frustrated. We opened up a cool website called Cool Rock. And Cool Rock, you can watch our show at the same time and actually make music in the background if you're really bored and you like to play with widgets. But I'm going to use some bandwidth. Hi, Sarah. Yeah, so we give you the Cool Rock alternative. You actually, listen to music at the background. It's just kind of weird. You can get Scissor Fight's entire list of music right here. This is loading right now, but he has his whole collection there. A lot of his songs, I should say. 97 clips of Scissor Fights are on there. And then you could watch the show coming up on the B camera. And then the set tone starts playing. We've got Info Pig here, which is the best source of really weird information I've ever seen. You've got our chat room here. You can chat in. And then you can go play music down below. And by the way, you can move any of these screens anywhere like this. You can grab anything and move it around. You can X out of things. Anything you don't want to look at. And when you click on this, it immediately snaps back. Refresh, it snaps back to its original position.
Soundtrap and then Mixcraft 7.
Mixcraft 7, good. You can go here and you can actually click on a different if you don't like that, you can get X out of that, X out of anything. And your screens are movable. Everything is movable on this page. Anyway, I just wanted to show you, if you wanted to, get lost in music and sound, you can do that and still watch our show. What do you think of the Yuri Bezmenov, the KGB defector? I've actually seen his videos, Jello Beans. He's spot on. He talks about the Soviets implementing a regimen of demoralization, and they're trying to completely control America, and they've had a long-term plan ever since Khrushchev. Where's the other one? For God's sakes.
He just said it.
Oh, he said it?
He wrote it. He didn't give a link.
What's the name? Mixcraft? Okay, I'll look that up.
So.
Thank you. Yeah, so there's Rudy Giuliani says Hillary Clinton could be considered a founding member of ISIS. That's a real reveal coming from Rudy. You know he's good friends with Donald Trump. You all know that. He's trying to target her as the source of ISIS. I was saying that for 2 years, and Donald Trump started saying that too. I think that's the 7th thing he borrowed from me. Okay, so here we have mixed. What is Cool Rock? Hippo Dance. Cool Rock is our website. It used to be our party. We started with Cool Rock Party. Mixed Craft, okay. And we tested the waters for, I would say, 2 or 3 years until we decided to change the name to America's Third Party. But we kept Cool Rock as a website. And it's still going to be our website in the future for the venues that we want to open it up for. Mostly chat. Well, Tapson, don't tell me about it. I don't really want to hear about it. If you're voting for Trump, that's your problem. You don't understand the problems in the country and how Trump is an establishment New World Order character. So, granted, you probably would, be fine in the little world of the Trump world. If you believe that somehow a one percenter is going to help you, which is not the case. One percenters only help themselves. That's how they become one percenters. All right. Yeah, we're going to purge or ban him. Mama June, this is
attacking DT Allura, and yes,
yeah.
I do know who you are. So, but no reason to be rude to other chatters in here.
Yeah, it's really not appropriate, and we do know who you are, by the way. All right, so let's go set up the Google News, and they recently found this new couple, potential terrorists in Belgium or in France. But mistakes were probably made, according to the Belgium official, acknowledging after the Brussels attacks. Well, we want to know why there were no smoke alarms in the airport, because none of the videos which had audio on them showed smoke alarms operating. That's one question I have. And why is it they use stock footage from 2011 in revealing the entire event? That was another faux pas that occurred. They pulled 2011 stock footage from a Russian airport attack, and they used it to describe this airport attack. That was in the mainstream media. So, and then why did one guy happen to be in that video, and then it popped up in the video at the Paris shooting, and the same guy was at the Boston Marathon attack? And he's not connected with any terrorist group. So the media immediately said, because people in the blogosphere found that this guy was popping up all over the place, and they're claiming it's a false flag. It was just a fake event. Well, the media then announced that, oh, this guy just happened to be at all 3 locations. His name is Mason, and he happened to be at all 3 locations. Oh, by coincidence, in answer to all of your questions regarding why this person keeps popping up at all these events. I'll be right back. Thank you.
He's a Mason?
No, his name is Mason, but
Okay.
he's a guy who just keeps appearing at all these events.
Yeah.
And the people that were studying the film found his face in all three events. The media then said, oh, it's a coincidence. He happened to be at all three events.
Uh-huh.
Well, they're staging these events. They're having crisis actor teams like this guy
Okay.
going to this event. That's the premise here. And it's disturbing a lot of people. They're just not buying it.
Yeah.
They think we're being led to war by
Right.
a bunch of propagandists.
Yeah.
That's the theory.
Yeah. So I'm glad that the Belgian police arrested 6 people after their, and then the French also foiled a Paris plot, according to the news. All right, and then what? Before, yeah, go choose a different name. Thank you very much, Lepra. All right, you're going to see salmon. Oh, good night, Mad Dog. John Malkovich, strange guy. Zillow sucks. They're going up. Okay. Yahoo's board is under attack. Huh. Pebble is cutting a quarter of its workforce. Not all is well at the smartwatch maker. Yeah. And a Playboy is just recently hired a banker for a possible sale of their industry of Playboy. Oh, thank you, Lepra, I guess. I come on at 7:30 and 8 or 6:30 and 8 o'clock Pacific time. That's when I'm here to help support David and give him a break. All right. Both the U.S. and Russia are pushing for a new Syrian constitution by August. And in Malaysia, they've detained 15 people for being possibly being related to being ISIS members. Oh, Good Friday tomorrow. Can you eat chicken on Good Friday? Is it only just no meat? And I know you can eat fish, but can you eat chicken? No chicken tomorrow? Oh, darn. Guess you can eat beans, right? I've never really, I guess, I've never acknowledged it, I guess. Oh, unless you can't eat fish. Okay. North Korea sanctions are going to be extended until, or monitored at least until April of next year. Oh, cheese ravioli, that would be good. You could do also, I could do some pierogies tomorrow. You can't eat the fish, they radiated it, Grizzly Ray says. American politics has reached peak polarization, according to Vox. The two parties have pulled apart to distances we've never seen before, whereas most people are in the middle. They're just rational human beings. Yeah. If you thought about everything you ate, you would starve. An United airline pilot has been arrested for allegedly running a string of brothels in office buildings around the Houston, Texas area. Wow. Interesting. A gunman in Redlands, California took his ex-girlfriend hostage, shot at her from point-blank range, and then the police killed him. I think she's gone to the hospital. Thoughts on this picture? Alright, well, let me just take this off the screen so it won't pop up when I look at it. I want to actually see that. Okay. Okay. I'm not sure what I think of that picture. I would say yeah, it's so to both statements. Yeah, the rainwater is not safe either. Nothing is safe. Some are better than others. The ground has changed. The sky has changed. But we're still living. I think spring water is probably better than rainwater, because at least it's coming up from the ground and has been through some kind of filtration. The ground acts as a filter rather than coming from the skies, especially if what David says is correct, that they're spraying us all the time. The man who spent a day in a Seattle tree is a no-show in court. He perched near the top of an 80-foot sequoia tree in downtown shopping district for more than a day. And he would not leave a jail cell for his first court appearance. Wow. Somebody in New Orleans killed a doctor and then killed himself. Oh, I should bring this back. Oh, yes, I have heard that plastic baby bottles contain estrogen. And you want me to say what effect I think that has on toddlers? Well, I would say that if you're talking about baby bottles that the babies would all generally be nursing from their mothers, wouldn't they they might get a little bit of estrogen from their mothers as well. Yeah, if you're careful, I guess glass bottles are the best. Hello, Fitz. I'm doing great. I'm gonna do what you asked, though. There was a artificial intelligence program that Microsoft designed to chat like a teenage girl. Whoa. But it was yanked offline in less than a day because it started imitating other chatters and it started acting racist, sexist, and offensive. That sounds like a chat room, like a general chat room person. Wow. Apple takes aim at PC users with a 9.7 iPad Pro. All right. Wheels to watch. Honda, Toyota, and Buick show new vehicles. Honda has a hatchback 2017 Civic. The New York International Auto Show is going on today. I heard Honda, there's this really cool thing about Honda. It has Honda Reads, Honda, I'll have to look it up, but basically you can get an app for, if you're a Honda driver, you just like put in your PIN and you can get like audiobooks, especially like children's audiobooks, so you can listen to them when you're in your Honda. That's pretty cool. We are not going on a real date, and I won't ever be buying you anything. Toyotas and Hondas are traditionally good cars. I know, even the chatbot became racist. It's crazy. Foursquare has a thing called Swarm. It gets more useful for life loggers. Alright, I'll have to check into that. Razer has a lineup of Black Widow X keyboards. Atari Vault is on Steam with 100 games. That's pretty cool. That's very cool. Retro gaming on Steam. Synthetic stripped down bacterium could shed light on life's mysteries. They actually stripped down bacterial with to make a minimum number of genes needed to keep it going. Wow, they want to use it to create designer life forms. Wow. Oh. That's good. In science, there's this superstar doctor that was fired because he lied on his he was lied about his scientific achievements on his resume. No, I am voting for David. I'm sorry to make you sad, but that just happens. Okay, so the ground is dark in the spring water. For example, if you have a stream where there is or near garbage grounds, yeah, I wouldn't drink something near garbage. That's true, too. So, yep, I'm voting for David. So, Cerez's puzzling bright spots, giant mountain feature, and new close-up photos. Interesting. A Japanese fleet killed 333 whales for research. That's just bizarre.
So you're having some fun reading the news?
Yeah, I'm reading the news.
Good. Yeah, Toyotas and Hondas are great cars. I agree. I had two Toyotas and a Nissan, and I've had an American vehicle, an Oldsmobile, and a Buick. You know, in the old days, the Olds and the old Buicks were really well made. They're still good cars. Yeah. I just don't trust the newer American cars because the engines don't seem to last that long. And I want to get 400,000 miles out of a car. Not 100, 400,000. I want to use that vehicle till it just won't go anymore. 12 Toyotas and 2 Hondas, wow. So you want to talk about the Japanese killing off dolphins and whales? Well, that's going to be a moot issue pretty soon because the dolphins and whales are all going to be dead from Fukushima. So that environmental issue is already coming to a close. We're beyond that now. As much as I care about the
So
dolphins, and
Honda
I do
has
care. Go ahead. Oh,
Honda has this thing called Honda Road Readers.
Mm.
I just found out about it today. Honda Road Readers.
Honda Road Readers.
Let me double check.
Now, all cars made after 2005 have the OBD2 Wi-Fi connection, so your car can be hacked. Just so you know. Until we get some until we see a new direction in American politics, we'll never be able to stop their ability to completely violate our privacy. Every car should be retrofitted with a Faraday cage that goes right over the OBD2 hatch that cannot be jacked up into. There's got to be a way to do this. Yeah. Anyway, it's just unfortunate. We've gone to the point where cybernetics have invaded our space. Well, yeah, I know the Japanese love whale meat, and they call it research when they go whaling, but it's kind of unfortunate that you can't change an economy. You can't tell Japan what to do. How do you propose you stop the whaling? Start a war? Would you like to start a war with Japan? Because that would be a big mistake. They're a strong trading partner. We have a lot of debt to Japan, ironically. They hold a lot of the notes that in the $19 trillion debt that we owe. The Federal Reserve negotiated a tremendous amount of leverage with Japan, and that's a huge amount of money. We've got like 2.5 trillion in debt. So yeah, we have a good relationship with them, but at the same time, we are obviously, working with a country that can do whatever they want to do. They're master of their own destiny. And the problem with the Democrats is they've been spending all their time trying to engineer democracy around the world and telling other countries what to do. They can't even manage democracy within their own party. I mean, it's ridiculous. Yeah. It's just terrible. Okay, what were you talking about earlier?
What, before you came in, or
yeah, just with a group.
I was talking about lots of different things.
Okay.
I was just reading the news mostly.
Okay, great.
Nothing that I need to
It's a warm coat. I like that.
report.
I'm really glad I spotted it. Oh, I went to the thrift store again today.
Oh, did you like that? Did you find a new jacket? Or no
I found a sweater. A really nice, like $50 sweater called
Wow.
Structured. And it's
Oh.
all cotton. And it was a $1 sweater day. And I thought, Sarah would love it if I got a sweater. So I picked up a $1 sweater. $50 value.
That's
yeah.
good.
And then I looked at some pants, and the lady said that the pants were supposed to be $1 for women's pants. And I had picked out some pants for you, and she says, no, that's a purple tag. That's $4.99.
Yeah.
That we cannot discount that because they were really nice cotton pants,
Yeah.
black pants. No, you'd never put a cat in a bath. That's like torture.
Actually, my dad has given cats baths before, and there's one cat that usually cats will scratch you if you try to give them a bath, but my dad gave this cat a bath, and the cat was purring because it was had been outside and had gotten into some oil or something. It was just filthy, dirty cat.
Wow.
And my parents felt sorry for the cat, so they were giving it some food, and they're like, "You're not coming inside unless you have a bath."
Well,
so my
that's
dad
bad,
actually bathed him,
I remember. Yeah.
and he said the cat was sitting in the warm water and just purring away because it was so happy to be clean.
Oh yeah. Well, it was an alley cat, so they get really dirty. So yeah, I guess I stand corrected. If you have a cat that's really dirty, you have to bathe them.
It is about
Your cat likes the water.
Says it's all about trusting the person who's giving them the bath,
not the bath itself. Okay, yeah, it's true. It's so true. Our cat was very resistant to getting near me, but became completely in love with my lap and became the ultimate lap kitty. Yeah. And I'm really glad I had acquired this cat. We saved it from being it would have died if we hadn't picked up this cat 13 years ago. So, and we're hoping she'll live to be 20 or so.
I think so, Nation. I think it's up to, I don't know, each person gets their own version, maybe.
Well, that you have to ask the cat. In underground comics in the 1960s, the famous question came from this character, Crazy Cat. It said, does a cat have Buddha nature? And that's a heavy spiritual question, And what is Buddha nature?
And the other question is, well, David and I, the first movie we saw together was What Dreams May Come.
I love that movie. Robin Williams, God, that was a great movie. What Dreams May Come. Yeah. Not Wet Dreams, What Dreams. Robin Williams, great movie. And it had such vivid graphics of heaven and purgatory and hell. I thought that was one of the most amazing pictorial displays of that imaginatory place that people, And frankly, this isn't a religious show, so.
No,
I
that was
digress.
An
Yeah.
show.
Okay, so Boeing's bank, in the days ahead of the March 26th Democratic presidential caucuses in Washington State, the U.S. Export-Import Bank's support for Boeing has emerged as an issue between rivals Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders. Now, Boeing is the reason why we have all these jets flying over our head. And I was mentioning how Patty Murray made that whole thing happen, where Airbus got the contract for all these oil tankers that fill up jets as they fly. Airbus had that contract on 6 separate points, and Patty Murray got it, and they routed it back, and Boeing won the whole contract right after that. And we wonder, if is this a power play that's going on behind the scenes? Or are these people making deals with the devil? Because we've got, 45 different jets flying over our heads over the next few years in training. The government's using this area as a testing area, and we've got 50,000 people living underneath those jets. Way more jet travel than we ever expected in this area. Write me in, yes. I am a man. I'm your man. Thank you very much, Peppermint Mouse. Appreciate it. This is going to be our caucus. Well, this has been at least a chance to get to know as many American people one-on-one through the internet that we've had. And we continue to do this show. And, I'm dedicated to communicating on all issues. But we're not getting any headway, really, in the mainstream media yet. And we're really frustrated. So, but I guess you have to, maybe do some bold things. I'm thinking of writing a letter to the New York Times, and it'll be an op-ed piece. So I'm going to probably put that together. At the very least, I need to get another letter off to the New York Times. Hopefully they'll post it this time. But yeah, we've got a serious crisis going on in our society on all different levels. Lack of communication, lack of free press, bad leadership, corruption at all levels, greed behind the scenes of government, and an endless kind of a sucking sound. Corporations sucking off your tax dollars. And that's been a huge problem. And the two parties aren't even addressing the key issues affecting a lot of us personally. Like forced vaccinations, we don't want that. The ridiculous hassle we have at the airport to get through the TSA and all these screening procedures, all that crap. Nobody's addressing that. Police brutality in our country, nobody's addressing that. Our government has done very little in that department. And the talking points in the mainstream media seem to be completely general and vague. They don't discuss GMOs. They don't discuss the dangers of fluoride in our water system, which is becoming more and more an issue for America. Wow. We've got all kinds of problems that just keep fomenting, and nobody addresses these issues. So that's why we appreciate the time we have to share these ideas. Well, you can believe. If you don't want to believe, that's okay too. Wet Dreams May Come was also a great film. Really? Was that ever made, Letter Jacket? Did they actually make that? Wet Dreams May Come? Was that like a porn or something? All right. So technology, how has it changed us? Okay, I don't have a cell phone. Sarah does. She pays $7 a month for her cell phone, which is amazing. The prepaid plan she has is really, really reasonable, but she can't surf the internet very easily. If she wants to surf the internet, she'd have to get a tablet, $30 a month payment plan. They have a prepaid plan for $30 a month where you can surf the net. T-Mobile, I understand, has a $40 a month plan where you can get unlimited service. And if you up to like $80 a month, they'll get free downstreaming of Netflix. It's like your extra plan. So there's a lot of ways of spending money in communications now. I just don't believe in having a cell phone because it's radiation, RF frequencies near your head. It's been definitely causing problems. Brain cancer has been linked to it. The director of the World Health Organization has stated that if you have to look at RF frequencies as a potential source contributing to brain cancer. So that's something that's our government doesn't talk about. But if you do have a cell phone and you use it a lot, I would recommend holding it away from your head and use the speakerphone. That's what I would recommend. It's called the Use It Very Little plan. It's a Go phone, right? You have a Go phone?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a Go phone plan. The prepaid plans for the older phones still are $7 a month. They're pretty good. Do your minutes carry over?
Yeah.
Yeah, carried over minutes, etc. And Gary Shandling has passed away, folks. 66, died of a heart attack. They're the very old cell phones. Yeah, hang on. Move those dogs.
Hulu has entered the world of virtual reality. They announced the launch of an app designed for Samsung's Gear VR, powered by Oculus. And starting this week, users of Gmail will get a full page warning when they click on email links to potentially unsafe sites. All right. Very good. Those are the old cell phones. You think old cell phones? I mean, I have been using my plan for a while. I just bought, basically, I rolled over the same plan and I got a newer cell phone. And yeah, it works out, but I don't really like my new cell phone. Oh, Jackson. Just one is too many, and 1,000 is never enough. You just don't do a cell phone, Pat's best friend. That's fine. He was drinking Hawaiian Steel. He didn't want to say it though. So. BlueCarphone.com mounting. What? I'll check it out, Laura. Oh, those are the old phones, man. That is pretty hilarious. Oh, that's so funny. I remember those days. I can't believe they still have a website.
That's great.
That's funny.
What is it?
The Blue Car Phone.
Oh, yeah. I remember those. Those are great.
It's like they still have a website.
Hey, Jackson.
I guess maybe they still try to sell them to people who want to look like rich or something. I don't know. I guess.
I remember when I looked at a guy in 1968, I saw a guy with a phone in his car. He was driving a Bentley. And he had a regular phone in his car.
I could see I could actually see the grandma using those phones.
Yeah.
I want a cell phone. I want one of those big blue phones.
You met me when I had my belt pack. I had a belt pack.
I did.
Met you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I still have my original belt pack, my analog phone from
funny.
1988 when I met Sarah. It was a 10-year-old phone back then. I think I sold it on eBay for $20.
Jackson, it's just going to use up a lot of your money. Whatever. If you're an alcoholic, I understand. You've got to drink.
Yeah, no.
He was going to stop drinking, and then he went to the store and got some beer or booze, whatever it is. Hawaiian
Steel is a pretty robust malt liquor.
Yes, he
A lot
did.
of people drink that stuff.
David has sold a couple of pieces of history, and he even has other ones for sale.
Yeah, I've actually tried to get rid of my technology. One of the mottos I live by. The motto I live by is every year I have to get rid of stuff if I buy stuff. So I try to get rid of all my old computers whenever I can. I was holding on to this old Amiga 2000.
6 hours counts, yeah.
That's good. That's a start.
6 hours today, 7 hours tomorrow.
Yeah, but you got to understand, drinking for a lot of people who'd get into beer turns into a lifetime.
Yeah.
Of a 6-pack a day. And I know a guy right now who's been drinking a 6-pack a day for 35 years. Ever since I met him.
Expanded out to an hour each day. 7 hours tomorrow. 8 hours the next day.
Going on 40 years he's been drinking a 6-pack a day. And, it's like, wow. So that's why you have to work harder, too, and think of all that money that you're losing on that 6-pack. Even that Hawaiian Steel is going to set you back about $3. That's $3 poorer you are every day that you drink that. Well, I drink coffee because I can get an incredible good deal at 10 cents a cup when I drip. The drip coffee machine works great. Thank you, Sarah, for coming in tonight. You're awesome. Get some rest. The bagels are not in. They're in the toaster, but I didn't press down on it.
Oh, okay.
And I left some butter for you, and there's a couple of hot dogs if you want on warm.
Thank you.
All right, and then there's some great fruit, peaches I got.
Oh, nice.
Or not peaches, pears.
Oh, good.
Canned pears. I pulled out a can. Have as much as you want of that.
Okay.
For dessert. And I don't really have a vegetable for you tonight.
I went to Jack in the Box
onions.
for lunch.
Oh, you did? What did you get?
I had a $5 Jack meal.
Oh, was it good?
Yeah. It was a double Jack like we had, and then soda and
Comes
fries.
the soda.
And
Soda and fries, wow.
I upped I said I'd pay more for what are those curly fries, and it ended up being the same price.
Oh, good. So you tried those. Well, good. I'm glad you had that.
Yeah.
You've had some carbs, and you just have some protein there. It saved me half of the bagel. Just cook it, and I'll just eat it, when it's dry. Yeah, so these are tough times. People are skimping whenever they can. I personally don't spend a lot of money on food anymore. Simply because, I find I diet more when I eat less and buy less. So it actually makes more sense. I actually shrunk my food bill when the prices got even higher. So I went the opposite direction to spending more on food. I actually spent less. And it's not like I'm proud of that. I mean, it's like I would love to buy lobster and, expensive food items all the time, but Hawaiian Steel can be pretty expensive. You might want to try one of those malt liquors from Milwaukee Brew or something. That will cut your costs right there. Miller High Life, yeah, that has kind of a sweet taste to it. A syrupy taste to it. That's a beer that I first had a Miller High Life. I think that was the first beer I ever tried. Yeah. David Nation hits on all the women here, so that's one of the problems. He likes to come in and kind of, play the field. David Nation, we're talking about issues here. I'm going to open up guest chat, and that'll force your comments to be lost in guest chat. Okay, guests on. Go ahead, guests. I'll take your questions now. Fire away. Yes, Green Eyed Girl says she's 86 years old. Great. Anybody who wants to come in, they can come in. That'll drown out your questions. Apparently they all left us. Yes, I am heterosexual, not heterononon sexual. It's heterosexual. I don't hate Jews. Why would you say I hate Jewish people? God. Just because I'm upset that there's a disproportionate number of Jewish people in the comedy field and in the banking industry and in the legal profession and in the medical field, considering they're 5% of our population and they're 90% of those fields, that's a problem. That's the disproportionality I'm talking about. It has nothing to do with disliking Jewish people at all. I actually, I've been around Jewish people all my life. I just didn't like their business practices, the ones that I'd met. I just felt that they were just there's too much greed involved. There's something wrong there. And I'm not Jewish, no. I just felt that there was too much greed involved in the transaction. It was like always, it's always about me. Me. What can I get out of this? Case in point, Donald Trump, his Jewish daughter, Ivanka. I don't know. What can I say? Donald is openly greedy. He brags about it. He acts like it's some sort of a gleaming example of a human being to be greedy. I find that rather disturbing. So yeah, there is kind of a dividing line. And when he went over last week to APAC, I guess he's over there right now camping out, looking for money, I knew that we had a real Zionist threat with Donald Trump. I knew that he was moving in that direction. And that's one of the reasons why our country's so screwed up overseas. We've been siding with Israel on key issues, of course, but why do you think we've been trying to attack Syria? They're mortal enemies with Israel. Think about it. Why would we want to attack Syria? It's obviously positioning to defend somehow Israel and their purpose. I think Israel should focus on just defense and not expansionism. Well, thank you. I don't look a day over 40. That's very nice of you. Well, I've been trying to eliminate a lot of the stresses in life. So living in my isolation chamber has been a big plus. Coming out to do the show and then getting back in the isolation chamber. Listening to my virtual reality headset and swimming has really helped me prevent age from taking its ravages. It also helps not to make any facial movements with your face, so your muscles relax. And I have a little special trick I use. Oh, I do? Really? Thank you. I got this thing it's called My Shell Dermatological Luticals. And it's MYCHELL. My sister got this for me. And it was part of a sampler pack, and I used it, and I started using it more often. And I have two chambers. I have one that's concentrated, which I don't use, and one that's diluted with fresh, pure water. And I spray my face. Like that. It's so refreshing. It's great. It's like a mini day spa whenever you go around. You just immediately get, your face sprayed, and you're like, whoa, it's great. You should try it. You just get a little mister and spray fresh water on your face. It's great. No, it's not Botox spray. Mr. Anderson. Well, I don't think that we should cater to AIPAC. I don't believe that we should be doing the work of a Jewish-led foreign political action committee. Seriously. Think about it. Why would we be embroiled in a war and a ground war? Now, Trump wants to invest ground troops in Syria or Iran. He wants to actually do a ground war in Iran, an invasion. He wants to go after ISIS because he thinks ISIS is such a big threat. The guy doesn't look at any of these false flags. He doesn't even realize that 9/11 was probably an inside job. He's basically a hook, line, and sinker, a Zionist, a vocal puppet for the New World Order. So is Hillary. Hillary and Donald sitting on the fence. KISSING. Seriously. There are two parties fused at the hip. I'm going to have that come up. It should be a fade. Well, wine is good. There's the grape cure. Many people don't realize that the grape cure was around for centuries. So I'm not saying it's bad to have... It's not bad in any way to have a little alcohol. They say it's very good for you. It is very nice, my sister, Green-Eyed Girl, and it is refreshing. Sorry I didn't read your chat earlier. things can get a little confusing, you know. Some of you believe that, you know, you got to experience life in a different way, and you start to expand your consciousness. That's all I could play without causing a copyright violation. I can't believe I get these notices. They keep coming in the mail. This is a very passive background. Yeah, Technology Thursday. This is what I want to see, more of water filtration. So coming up in the many years ahead, if I'm your president, I will be putting together a government program to get really cheap water filtration to the American people. Units that we will actually comp for people that are in water distressed areas like Flint, Michigan. This is something that I want to build into the FEMA survival solution set that we want to put together for the future. Regional food supplies, water filtration devices, point of use, even if it comes down to a pitcher, you know, like a Brita filter or something, just for starters. But we need to do something. Jackson used to own a Pacer. You know, I thought the Pacer was the coolest car in some ways because it looks like a greenhouse. The Pacer from 1975. God, that was a great car. No, I don't want to sell filters. This is not a Berkey filter solution place. This is a place where you could actually, the government would actually have a system. We'd either work with a local producer of filters like Culligan Man, but we'd try to roll out a product that's way cheaper than the other products that are currently in the market. Because for most people, it's really costly to have water filtration. In our sink, we have a triple filter. It's an RO filter, reverse osmosis. That can't be used in California because of the water shortage down there. Reverse osmosis tends to waste water. Well, the tap isn't free. It's costing you healthcare costs, big time. Guess 938. Yeah, look at the Pacer, folks, from 1975. Wasn't that classic? You can turn that into a greenhouse, I thought. You lost your virginity in that car? Really? Oh my God. Where? Did you drop the seats down or something? Or you must have had a very small virginity to lose. Okay. Just kidding. Okay, groovy car. Yeah, totally. Sponheim, do you remember Vietnam? Yeah, I remember Nam. What do you want to talk about? What part of it? Da Nang? Poontang? Where do you want to start? Yeah, that was 30 clicks away from Poontang, yeah. You know, I never lost my virginity. I'm technically still a virgin. I know that sounds kind of hard to believe. Very hard to believe. Sometimes it's extremely hard to believe. But I've never had unprotected sex. Okay. You got the double entendre. Did you get the triple entendre too? Yeah, I'm working on many different metacognitive levels. A lot of the words that I'm using are actually 3 different jokes all in one. They're jam-packed with humor. Cowbell time. That was a good one. That was a good cowbell. Yeah, so filtration has a lot to do with the future. It's what we envisioned for this great nation. Is I see filter systems available for all of our water systems. I envision air filtration systems in malls, and every jet in America will be retrofitted with air filtration systems. Right now, they're not. We've got to install HEPA filters on our planes. You know, the chance of pandemics happening point to point, person to person is greater than ever when you get on a plane. No, tap water is not filtered enough. If you call sand filters a filter, that's pretty funny. What are you, from the Water Quality Association? Get out of here. We don't want you here. Yeah, it's filtered with fluoride, right? How can such a smart guy live in a house delivered by a truck? Because I'm not into the whole scheme of things. I don't work off the mindset of the media. That I'm completely detached from the traditional mindset that's been pushed on us through the public school system and through brainwashing and propaganda. I have detached myself. I am unhinged from your reality. That gives me much more capability to act autonomously in a way that is precisely what I need to be, sustainable. David, the name David is Jewish. The name David was commonly used back in the 1960s in almost every household. It was like back in the 90s, a lot of people were called Marissa for some reason. I mean, there's names that pop up. David was the common name used during that time period. Yeah. David has shares in the filter company. No, I'm not trying to promote money here. I'm not trying to make money on anything. I've never really gone for money. That's why I live in a house that was delivered on wheels. I like the construction value, too, of modular homes. I really do. I know. Frank Marshall Davis, all those extreme left Marxists influence what Obama is, and that's why we have the Obama nightmare. The Abomination. That's what we have, the Abomination. I didn't inherit any money from my parents. I earned my own money, and I essentially, snaked it away and made good use of it. But my parents only, I inherited a modular home, ostensibly. That's all I got. That's not that big of a deal. But I like it, and the nice thing is we found this place back in the early 90s that was on an island within a mile of the beach with the breathtaking views of the Olympic Mountains, Mount Baker, I mean, you name it. And it just so happens we live on a naval air station. And that's the one concession we made. And that's why the property values were a little bit lower. And that's why we could afford to do this. But my family and I could not afford to have even gotten this far in life. The entire system is stacked against you. You're not going to be able to own your house within your own lifetime with the existing mortgage system we have. Most of you will be in debt the rest of your life, and that's really sad. Well, the mobile medical won't make it. I'm not going to profit from any of these devices or engineer devices I want to give as president. But if I'm in the private sector and I'm developing filtration systems, yeah, I'm going to profit from them, of course. Why wouldn't I? But if I'm doing this as president, I don't want to make any money on this. It's giving it to the American people. I want to help solve the problems. We aren't solving the problems right now. We don't have any innovative thinking in our country. It's almost like we've lost our way. And the designs that are out there, I mean, look at Amazon Prime. They're doing innovations. I will say Amazon's looking very forward thinking. Delivering things to your home. Something like that would be pretty cool. The drone technology that's come out of our country has been really, really good. Robotics has been great. So we're seeing some growth in those areas. But cheap healthcare? No, we can't deliver that if your life depended on it, and it does. You're an Amazon associate now? That's pretty cool. I'm not talking about reinventing the wheel here. And I'm not talking about, lifting off a massive blimp at great cost to the American people. I'm just coming up with solutions, that's all. This was actually an endeavor to create a massive blimp out of flimsy mylar. Pretty cool. Yeah, they can do things. But should we waste your tax dollars on this? No, of course not. This should come from investment capital. And that's why we support the idea of renewable energy savings bonds, which will finance the creation of a lot of this technology. Yay! Yeah. So I'm kind of an evangelist for cheap, well-made cheap products, built to last, essentially, sustainable. Jackson said every time I'm going to do impersonation, you're doing shots. So you basically want to kill your liver.
Well, Nancy would not have approved. I know that Ronald, the original Ronald Reagan, didn't drink too much. He was a teetotaler. And I would advise you care about your liver. Now, Nancy's been taking too many Valium. And I said, Nancy, just say no to Valium.
All right, there it is. One shot down the hatch. Well, at least you're enjoying your life. That's one good thing about alcohol. But it's temporary, because alcohol makes you depressed. Yeah. Pretty soon you're going to be, wallowing in your own pity. Have you ever wallowed in your own pity? Any of you? You don't have to share. My name is David. I'm not an alcoholic. Hello, David. Yeah, have you ever been to those non-AA meetings? They're weird. They're called NA meetings or something.
Well, Ronald wasn't cooking on all 4 burners. That's why he was... Huh? What?
David, do you support your followers on an emotional level? I do. I know that you're living the life that is the life that I lead, pretty much, except I live in a better area at lower cost because I mapped it out. I actually went up here for 10 years and looked at the whole California, Oregon, Washington coastline and found the perfect area to live. It took forever. I was bullied, yes. I was very much so. Well, I was told that it takes a greater man to not fight back by my father. And he did that because I basically hit my cousin in the face. I don't know what happened, or he was talking about his sister, and I remember just this blank thought that came over my head. Gee, why don't I just slug him? I remember it. It was like weird. It was almost like a demonic possession. So I did a terrible thing as a young kid. At 7 years old, I slugged my cousin in the face. It was horrible. And I look back on the experience and I was like, it takes a bigger man to not fight back, actually, and to walk away, yeah. Ironically. And after that experience, I followed that pathway, and it was a tough one to learn, I'll tell you. I went through a tremendous, grueling experience numerous times to learn that lesson. I'm not on any drugs. Why, are you on drugs? Are you taking mood elevators or Viagra? Or what kind of drugs are you on? I don't sexually harass people, no, like you do. Oh, okay. Enjoy, thank you. I'm sorry, copyright protection prevents me from playing anything you link to me. Benny Goodman. And I'm afraid that's Benny Goodman. The Benny Goodman family wants to collect and monetize that song. We can't play anything like that until 9 o'clock. Oh, it's 9 o'clock. We can play whatever we want. We can stop our regular recorded broadcast. Cool. Boy, I can't believe how fast time goes in this show. What happened, Green-Eyed Girl? You're on ibuprofen? Trump who? You mean Drumpf? That guy's name is Drumpf. You need to spell his name right. That's his original name is Drumpf from Germany. Yeah, the imposter family of the Trump family. They should just call themselves Drumpf. It's a much better name, I think. Headache, yeah. Dang. I'm a little salt sensitive. I can get headaches if I have too much salt. So you may want to, find out if you're salt sensitive. Sometimes if you eat something really salty, you can get a headache. I know because I had headaches as a child. I had migraines. I had to experience the grueling, unbelievable torture of a thing called public school. You're giving me your account history? Okay. And why is that? This is what 9 years of on-time payments for the student loans look like. Oh my God, really? Oh my goodness. Okay, unpaid bills account history. Student loans. By loan. Original balance in 2007, $12,000. Total amount paid after 9 years of repayment, only $3,498. So 9 years of paying back your student loans at regular payments, and this is how much they're trying to rip people off with. This entire note needs to be renegotiated. The FAFSA loan note needs to come under one house. No, I live on the subduction zone, guess 347, the Cascadian subduction zone. The San Andreas Fault is south of Washington. That's a lot of money if you're paying on student loans and make only $3,498 progress for 9 years. How disappointing. No wonder a lot of you people are really being, felt like you've been raped. I know. It's horrible. Student loans are the way bankers, Jewish bankers, you're saying, Grizzly, rip off white kids. Wow. The fact that bankers, so many of them are Jewish, it's not something I'm not going to ignore it, but bear in mind, I in no way feel that people should be prevented from their chosen profession. Okay? I just want to make it more available opportunity for people who are not of Jewish descent. So I'm just a little concerned that we're not really opening up opportunity to the average people in America. And by the way, affirmative action needs to be completely shut down. I believe that everybody should have equal access to education. It shouldn't be based on the color of your skin. I never had a student loan either because I didn't want to, but consequently I didn't finish a 4-year education. So, there's a side trap that you get into where you don't make a lot of money because of it. So be prepared. If you're okay with not making a lot of money, then by all means, don't get your student loans. But I want to make it so that people have like double the size Pell Grants that they currently get, and it's locked in on tuition at your local community college. And I want to make sure that people have a 6-week to 6-month program where they can get a job fairly quickly. Great ATP soon? Okay. I'm just saying. We'll do the Benny Goodman thing, thank you. I'm just saying, it's not the Jewish people's fault they're good with money. Absolutely not. And it's their choice to be this way. The problem is that education has become so expensive that you have to have a lot of money to get an education. That's the problem. I'm not talking about whether you're Jewish or not. It has nothing to do with it. I tried to get into college. I tried 4 universities. I was the number 1 student in my high school class of 770 students. I was a valedictorian, number 1. And I expected college scholarships. I expected 4-year educations at major Ivy League universities. And I got squat. All I got. No, I didn't flunk out anything. All I got was a little bit of nothing. So I learned that unless you got money, you ain't nothing. Alright? Okay, so this is our way to give you guys what you really need, which is a house to live in, where you can have a fun life in the future. And in the process, you don't have to worry about a lot of electricity bills because even at the very least, your energy will come from your roof. So in the event of a disaster, there should be a battery system in each one of these units that would give you about 2 days of electricity. Or trickle in and then bump up, so you get about 3 hours at a time to keep your refrigerator going. I want to build a survivable backbone to our future. I want to create a civil defense system for our nation that involves everything from personal air masks that the CDC distributes to your family in the event of a pandemic, to a kit like a bug-out bag that the government could actually issue everybody in storage at every regional survival center, We could have FEMA regional centers that are not campments or fenced-in areas, just survival area where people have food supplies. We don't have that right now. The two parties have led us into an empty area, and we're like a field of sheep going bah. And there's a wolf over there and a wolf over there, and we're like bah. That's what the world's become. And if you continue voting two parties, it'll get worse. So we offer real solutions here on our show. Trump doesn't have any real solutions. I have plans to end the IRS. End what we know is fixing the EPA. Change the CDC. Fire the FAA. And the FCC. We've got to get accountability from this government. And unless we do it with a third party, we're never going to get what we want. So obviously this is a plan to awaken the American people and deliver solutions in a timely manner to our definite need. Well, unfortunately, if you have a family that is supposed to be able to pay for your education right now, you actually have to wait till you're 25 right now. And then you can become independently financed by a government loan. Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy, Company B. Oh, cool. So this is a retro night? Yeah, let's close that border and quit handing out money to illegal aliens. Thank you. And I must tell you that Donald Trump is kind of soft on refugees. Recently, he started saying, "Oh, I'm concerned about the people from Syria." Ooh. Really? Trump seems to be driving a lot of votes to Hillary. She's still pulling 60% of the voting bloc right now. Amazing, isn't it? Okay. Okay, this person is speaking out for the American people. He says, "I think a man with a helmet defending our country should make more money than a man with a helmet defending a football." That's a pretty powerful shirt, yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what Trump is, a Democratic pawn to get Hillary in. Almost everything Trump says is almost sounds like a Democrat. He wants to expand health care and spend $800 billion on health care. How is that any different than Obamacare? And he doesn't even understand what a public option is. If you talk about a public option with Trump, he'll think you're trying to steal some of his real estate from the public domain. Oh. Drumpty built a big wall. Yeah, he'll take a fall because that wall cannot be built. A fence can be built, like I originally said in 2008. But no way can a wall be built. Not in your lifetime. Ask the Chinese. It took 100 years to build a Chinese wall. Okay. Could Anonymous get Trump elected? You know, I don't believe Anonymous is anonymous anymore. I think that they're a government operation. I believe they were co-opted by the government. I don't believe anyone could ignore the reality the government can buy any group of people, including hackers. They can print money up out of thin air. You want the interview with Jacques Fresco? Sure. Yeah. I did a 2.5-hour interview with Jacques Fresco and Roxanne Meadows many years ago, and I have the link. If you'd like, I'll give it to you. Give it to me. Yeah. Yeah, this is our radio interview with Jacques Fresco. And by the way, he just turned 100 years. He's 100 years old now, and I sent him a birthday card. Candy Rain does not like Jacques. She finds the whole Venus Project to be ridiculous. I know, it sounds pretty bad. You know that Dr. Mount is making big bucks now, Candy? I wanted to depress you. Yeah, he's making big bucks on AdSense. Yeah, he has like 44,000 subscribers now. He's raking in the dough with fear mongering. It's amazing. It's exactly what the government wants. The government wants to use AdSense through Google, the subsidiary of the Navy. Google is. They're using AdSense dollars to contribute to fear mongering. They want to freak people out. The more we're freaked out, the less likely we're going to organize and actually build a third party. I like Jacques. Yeah, I never didn't like him. I like the interview. You guys can listen to it. It's 2.5 hours, though. But he's very enlightening. And, you know, his effort is, he's not a communist. He just wants to see a resource-based economy where we all have a house or a place to live. It's not like he's pushing a communist agenda. Many people have confused him with that. But Jacques Fresco was the guy that originally came up with the flying wing, which is now the cutting-edge technology our government's working on. The flying wing. It actually cost Jacques Fresco his job. The flying wing. It cost him his job at Northrop. The fact that he had such a wild idea, and now that is the stealth project that they're working. They came up with a flying wing that you can barely see in the sky, that is almost invisible to radar. But that's state-of-the-art technology today, still working with an idea he came up with in the 50s. Well, that's cool. The cow theory of government. Okay, I'll check it out. Thank you, Dr. No. Well, the thing about our idea of hybrid capitalism is we never wanted to bankroll innovation on the backs of the taxpayer. We always thought that the best way is to create revenue-generating profit centers for the government so that we don't run in reverse financially. But the Democrats, they can't do that. They just constantly throw money, good money after bad money, and waste your tax dollars to continue to produce next to no products whatsoever. So we have a plan to actually use renewable energy savings bonds, which will get a return on investment and bring money back to the government. And it'll run more like an efficient machine. This vision I have for 50 years from now, where our country runs smoothly without having to drain money out of the taxpayers. And frankly, our taxpayers are paying less and less. 50% of our country is now paying taxes. The rest are pretty much living on the dole or barely making enough to survive and don't have to pay taxes. So it's kind of an amazing, weird scenario we're reaching. So we need a new idea. We can't just get away with not doing something different. So that's why we came up with this concept of hybrid capitalism, which is in our book for download now for 99 cents on Kindle. You go to our store and click on the link. It's at AmericasThirdParty.com. All right. Yeah, and you pay tax right now when you buy products, exactly. And we propose a 10% flat tax. That innovation will not tax anybody who makes less than $100,000 a year. It's graduated flat tax. It's much better than Trump's plan. Trump wants to tax everybody. I'm not married, no. Sarah and I are not married. But we feel like we're married at times because we're so close. Yeah, well, you would not be the first, David Nation. Yeah. No, Jackson, that's it. You got to get used to one shot. You see, the more drinking you do, the more you're going to want to drink again, and the more you have to drink. It basically makes you less tolerant to alcohol the more you drink. Well, nice try, but that's BS. Trump is an establishment character who basically will not recognize that 9/11 was an inside job. Trump will not admit that. Trump will not in any way go against the powers that be, the Fed. He never wants to end the Fed. He never talks about that. Hey, take it easy. Good night. DT Laura is going to bed. Yeah, good night. Sleep well. So Trump also doesn't even comment about GMOs. He's never gone against Monsanto like we do. He's never gone against chemtrails. Oh, God, if you mention chemtrails to him, he'd be like, oh, is that some sort of an underwear? I don't know. Yes, all the money taxes you guys pay goes to the Treasury, which then writes a check to the Federal Reserve. It goes directly to the World Bank. The World Bank is carrying our money, our notes. When people buy Treasury bonds, guess who issues them for the U.S. government? The World Bank does. And Goldman Sachs makes 6% on every Treasury bond we sell. That's how this whole thing is knit together. That's why the rich are so rich. They keep getting richer, everybody. And believe me, Bernie doesn't even understand the mechanism by which they remain rich. He actually has done nothing. When Ron Paul wanted to pass the bill to audit the Fed, Bernie wanted to change it completely, remove it from its auditing capability. Bernie went against auditing the Fed. Ron Paul knows this. He's even talked about it. Bernie does not in any way know what he's doing. He's simply drawing from a very dark old philosophy called communism, socialism. It doesn't solve problems in this real time that we're living in. It's antiquated. That's why we came up with hybrid capitalism. Thank you. Yeah, Ron Paul's great. He's still great. Why in the hell are we going to give poor people conventional homes? We're not going to give poor people conventional homes. We're going to fix up old houses that are dilapidated right now and make them nice. Let me take you to Detroit. This is a hypothetical house. This is not your future house. Let's go to Detroit. Let's look for some property. What do you say? Let's go to Detroit, Michigan. I'm going to go buy some houses. Your screen froze? Uh-oh. That's probably the Vaughn server. They're just messing with me every night. Hitler was just on the Jimmy Kimmel show. Yeah, talk about New World Order thrust down our throats everywhere we turn. Yeah, socialism without capitalism equals communism. I agree. Good point. $3,500. Here's a house for $3,500. It's 1,440 square feet. One story with trash throughout. Okay. I'll find a better property. $9,800. That was $3,500. Yeah. Let's get a picture here. All right. I could do better than that. This lovely home in Detroit. Now look at the bones of this house. Okay? This is $9,000, the bones of this house. You can do a lot with that. That's stonework. A lot of the lumber in there is original from the 1940s and 50s. That's a doable house. Use a vinyl cover over the top or a good paint job. The paint looks pretty good. All new carpeting, drywall replaced wherever needed, and new insulation whenever we pull drywall. Take that entire front end, completely fence that whole in. You got to have a fence around that property. So a chain link fence around the front end so you get some privacy. Got a lot of privacy with chain link, don't you think? Doomster, how you doing, man? Welcome. Well, we have to buy a block of these houses, not just one house. We have to buy a whole block at $10,000 a piece. Doing well, thank you. Well, let's go somewhere else. Flint obviously is a bad place because You know, you can't get any water, so that's good. Where do you want to live? Las Vegas? Vegas. You want to live in a desert? Yeah, let's live in the desert. You've been slammed with work. Well, that's good. It's good you're busy. Here's one for $9,500 in Vegas. A lovely, a beautiful modular home. Now let me tell you what I can do with that modular home right there. That's a nice bed. Look at that. There's a nice big bedroom in there, a master bedroom. Not a bad kitchen. Not a bad kitchen. Well, on the outside it looks bad, but look at the wood cabinets. That's all original oak grain cabinetry. That's decent. Put a brand new stainless steel refrigerator in there. That's the kitchen you're not going to get. Don't you want to see the kitchen you are going to get? There is no catch. Here's the kitchen you're going to get. Okay? We get the house for $9,500. I put an exterior siding on the outside of completely remake the entire outside of this mobile home with cedar. It'll look like a log cabin when I'm done with it. And I can do it all for under $10,000. And we can get you a kitchen for only $7,700. So we can turn this entire vehicle into a money-making opportunity for you. Anyway, we're trying to fix up America. That's what we want to do. That's the whole concept in a nutshell. Here's a Minneapolis Craigslist ad. $4,250 four-bedroom home for lease. Yeah, that's $4,200 a month. Yeah, it should be pretty. It is better. For $4,200 a month, I could live in Malibu. Yeah. And I can wonder, I could swim out there in the Fukushima waters of the Pacific Ocean. It's a lot nicer, yeah. What's your price range? I mean, I'm looking at $10,000 houses. I mean, give me a better price range. Look I still want to go to Vegas. That was Vegas. That was living in a mobile home in Vegas, by the way. But you were near the casinos, and you can get pretty good deals, free Bloody Marys. Just hang around the Keno Lounge. Ask for Bloody Mary without vodka in it. And they're really tasty. You don't get drunk, but you just get nutrition. Yeah, and you can pick up condiments at the local Jack in the Box. Yeah, absolutely. You can survive. Being in Vegas, it's a perk, yeah. Tell me about it. Free booze, exactly. Well, it never interested me either, green-eyed girl. But I was in Vegas with my family when I was young. It was kind of an experience I'll never forget. My father and mother used to go there once in a while and gamble. It was funny. Sarah and I have been to Vegas 2 times, and we loved it. We walked all up and down. If you haven't been to Las Vegas and seen some of the free attractions, that alone is worth a day trip and ride on the bus. That's not free, but it's pretty fun. Yeah, Vegas is really an amazing city to this day. 1-bedroom model trailer in South Florida goes for $1,200 to $1,500 a month. Yeah, I know. You could buy a trailer for a lot less than that. Are we done with Craigslist here? Because that's the only house in all of Las Vegas that's under $10,000. Look at that. That was the only place in Vegas that's under $10,000. I'm shooting for $10,000. Okay, let's go to Orlando, Florida. See what's available for $10,000. Yeah. A lot of things stay in Vegas, like, people that they got to get rid of, I'm sure there are a lot of people buried out there in the dirt. Probably went against the house and were counting cards or something. Okay, there is That one house for $10,000. Okay, so you can't live in Orlando. I'm sorry. What about Cincinnati, Ohio? Cincinnati. Ohio. Yeah, well, you can't gamble if you go to Vegas. You just got to walk around and look at things. I'm serious. And get really good buffets. But go for the lowest cost morning buffets. They're cheaper. Yeah, see, there's a 3-bedroom in Cincinnati, Ohio right here. Whatever. This is not bad. I mean, it's got a charm to it. For $9,500, 3-bedroom, 3-bath. It's not bad. Again, you're dealing with some pretty good old bones in the house, well built, pretty good construction value in the old days. You got to pull a lath and plaster up and put drywall in and fiberglass insulation, but well, they say you can buy a house for $1, but that you're picking up the tax payments and the back taxes on the house. It was a 3-bedroom, 3-bath house I just showed you, monkey times, for $10,000 in Cincinnati. Yeah, I kid you not. I got lots of them here. Here's a house for $3,000, or you can get a lot in Cincinnati for $3,000. A lot. You can do a lot with a lot. Well, I'm talking about, a lot. It's had 194 views in the past 27 days, this lot for $3,000. So what are you going to do with a lot? You would consider living in Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, Tennessee, Washington, Montana, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia. That's cool. Okay. I'll keep a laundry list of places you want to live. Okay. This is our best offer. You can be right there a lot. So that's your lot. 2,700 square foot lot. Well, for $3,000, you can park a trailer on that lot. So let's see. So that's $3,000 living on a trailer. Craigslist. And let's go to Cincinnati, Ohio. For $2,000, let's see what kind of trailer you can put on that lot. See where I'm going with this? Here we go, Cincinnati, Ohio. Not Indianapolis, Cincinnati. Yes, there we go. Okay, so $3,000, you got a 2,700 square foot lot in Cincinnati. Oh, you don't want to go to Aberdeen. That's a lot of meth. Yeah. You would want to live with me, Hawaiian Steel. I'm on this every day. Jackson says that counted for a shot. You're just coming up with reasons to drink. I told you that's not a good idea. Well, I don't want to make a non-profit out of ATP. Not yet. Maybe later. America's Third Party could be a non-profit eventually. Let's see. We're going to search for a trailer. There's 3,299 trailers for sale in Cincinnati. Joyful Wookie, you've got a good life. Well, good for you. Isn't that special? Well, welcome to the Fun Life show where we all pretend like we have a good life. You work hard for your living. Yeah, you do. And the more money you spend, the deeper in debt you are. How deep are you in debt, Joyful Wookie? You have a mortgage on your house. When you total up all your debt, what are you into it for about $400,000? I'm trying to get you free and clear. You got to click this button over here. You got to get the reduced price first. This should be interesting. Oh, and there's so many I'll never get there. I just got to keep going to the next one. Yeah. You're only $5,000 in debt? That's not bad, Joyful Wookie. That's not bad at all. Yeah, you're doing well. Grizzly Ray, you don't want to live the life of a politician on Wall Street. That's Donald Trump's life. His daily nut's probably $30,000. I wouldn't doubt it. He's got, I don't mean his nuts are $30,000. I mean his daily nut in terms of his interest load. Okay. USDA approves Monsanto's herbicide-resistant GMO corn without permits. Huh. Stands to reason, right? Can you believe these people? The USDA is going to give a free ride to Monsanto. And that's why we're never getting accountability from these people. They're never going to stop what they're doing. Okay, I'm looking for trailers. His daily fuel bill is probably at $90,000. I wouldn't doubt it. Okay, these are the flatbed trailers. You can't live on one of these. Once I get a steel shipping container, living in a steel shipping container in Cincinnati on the road, isn't that great? But yeah, not bad. For $1,300, you get a steel shipping container. I'm trying to get something livable here for you. It's a hypothetical question. Something nice, please. Something decent. They're just $2,000. Nice aluminum boat. Yeah. Jeez. Getting close. All I have is $2,000. Ah, I found it. And you got $100 to spare. You got a camper, did you? Really? Those are fun. Live here. Well, let me look at this one first. Hang on, and then I'll get to your link. The Amerigo 19-foot travel trailer, Mason, Ohio, right near Cincinnati. Parked that little puppy on that little piece of lot for $3,000. Are you with me? Look at that. Nice kitchen. Dinette set. And a toilet and that's a little shower there. Look at that. Yeah, see? Life is sweet. It's all paid for. It's beautiful. That's right. Now, Candy Rain's got a link here in Atlanta. Whoa, only $529,000. But it has water damage. Oh, the trailer did, yeah. Well, you're going to get a little water damage with a $2,000 trailer. But at least I found you a place you could live, and for $5,000. For $5,000. It's a trailer. It's not a home. I know that. Just deal with it. Work your way up. That's $5,000 more than you have. Here's a lovely home, a craftsman-style home in Canton. Look at the beautiful kitchen. Wow, look at the kitchen. I'm drooling. Your husband works on RVs. That's cool. He knows the RV scene pretty much up and down. Wow. Palatial living room with a master fireplace. Lovely dining area with provincial furniture. The master suite with a sitting lounge overlooking your expansive landscape around your home, your estate. Outdoor seating area for you when you're... Oh, he used to. He used to be in RVs. Okay. A bathroom to orgasm in. What an amazing white upon white. A bathtub to equally orgasm in. And then, of course, the proverbial Southern-style staircase. And, of course, the master suite for the masturbator. And then additional seating for guests. Living areas, expansive rooms. What is this, 12,000 square feet? What is this, a backup kitchen too? Oh my God. Expansive living room with a pool table that you could orgasm on. And then the couches, look at those. The pool table, again, we go back to the bar. I mean, who doesn't have a bar in their house? Some people can trim their eyebrows. I've been able to give my eyebrows a little extra something special. They happen to match my hair, so. Okay, so this outdoor seating area is a nice winning approach to, entertain guests. It has the Sonoma-style fireplace. That fireplace alone cost about $30,000, along with the veranda and the seating in the gazebo area. Yeah, they can't sell this house at this price. What, are they out of their mind? $529,000. Give me a break. 5 bedrooms, 6,400 square feet. That's huge. Now back to my $5,000 setup in Cincinnati, Ohio, in a trailer. Face spray time. Thank you. Hold on. This is how I do the extended shows. It gives me strength. Ah, yes. Well, I wouldn't know. That Vegas $10,000 property is looking better and better, especially with the cedar siding. That's ridiculous. Okay, so I want to go back and look at trailers again in Cincinnati. I'm not happy with my purchase. Okay, I did want to mention to you that this trailer is equipped with an awning, and it can make a second room if you add some of that exterior curtain activity around the side. You can put a little, TV set and a. Okay, that's the best home ever. You can make a second room next to your trailer. You know that, right? I just want you to know that. You're not totally limited. Okay, let's go down. We're still under the $2,000 barrier. Those are kind of nice. You can customize a 6x12 enclosed, but that's not what you're looking for. That's not a bad deal for $2,000 though. That's a pretty good. That unit alone will run about $4,000 in my area. Just so you know. Not that you care. Ah, yes, a 31-foot Fleetwood Wilderness. How can you not love this 1987 Fleetwood? Yeah, this is special. In just a few minutes, I'm going to show you Andy Kim, Portland, Oregon's going to show you a brand new 2016 Bullet trailer. What I think is the coolest thing about it, it's basically a $20,000 unit. But this is a $2,000 trailer. How the hell are you? Well, we're not going to live in a U-Haul. We're going to live in a trailer. Well, let's be clear. There you go. It's got decent, you could put this in Cincinnati. It's 31 feet, okay? And it has the awning. And again, you can have the second bedroom next to it. This is, again, under $2,000. So your combined total cost for your home is $5,000. That's $5,000. A nice double door option. 31 feet. This is a pretty cool trailer. I actually know this trailer pretty well. I had a trailer just like this when I was a kid. My parents did. Almost exactly like the Cimarron. Look at that. That's not bad. You got your 2-person dinette set, wood grain exterior. Oh, come on. That's a decent trailer for $2,000. Look at this. Good bedding in the back. Your family can sleep over. You can sleep 5 people in here. It's gorgeous. You got your dual beds in the back. You and the kids. It's great. Look at this. Hello. Am I not looking at the coolest trailer ever? For the price, decent bathroom. I'll read about it in just a second. Hang on. Nice little shower. I've actually showered those little guys. They're pretty good. And then look at the wood grain cabinet. That's what sold me on this place. The wood grain cabinet is really nice. It's rocking. This whole thing is a rockin' trailer deal. Under $2,000, living on a lot in Cincinnati, Ohio. For $5,000, you can have absolute luxury. Using modern technology, you can make it even better. Imagine an LED TV, 50-inch screen against the wall. Imagine redoing the walls in some other color or something. Imagine big things about this $5,000 investment. I know, it's a pretty nice trailer. I'll tell you, the shot that won me over was that one right there. And that's a full window. You know, you got a full window, a dinette. That's a bed that rolls out and sleeps 2 people. The dinette sleeps 1 person, and the twin beds in the back sleep 2 other people. You got 5 people that can live in here. Hell, damn, yes. Are you? Yeah. See, this is approachable. A lot of you people, you know, like the guy who came in here who said he's 5,000 shy of where he wants to be. Some of you people, this is attainable. It's not impossible to achieve something simple, but you know, you can build up from here. You don't have to go deep in debt with that $500,000 house that Candy was showing you. Of course, you could be making big bucks. And basically, that needs a pressure wash. That's the corrugated aluminum siding. It's built forever. It doesn't break down. You will have to use some caulking on the roof occasionally to deal with the possible seepage. Yeah, just stick some caulking on the roof. That's right. Well, I've got to tell you, that's the best deal in value I've seen in trailers in some time. 31-foot, $2,000. Fleetwood Wilderness. Has a large fold-down couch, dinette, 2 bunks, 100% as is, has water damage under the window and damage to the floor. Perfect for hunting or permanent site. So what you got to do with these old trailers, they have this hideous carpet in them. You got to rip it up and put pergo down. And the ladder in the back is nice, yeah, if you want to get up there on the roof. That's very healthy. You could put a little garden on top of the roof, too. Living, you know, do some rooftop gardening out there in the middle of Cincinnati, Ohio, on that lot. Yeah, Ramblers are good ones. But right now I'm going to take you to the first show out of the chute is the state-of-the-art technology coming from a company that makes amazing trailers here in Washington called the Bullitt Company. They're a division of Fleetwood as well. Yeah, this is the same company that made the Cimarron, made the Bullitt. Let me show you what it looks like. Yeah, it's phenomenal. I play this during our show frequently. But I wanted to kick the show off with this because it's Andy Kimmy's this guy who's a salesperson down in Portland that sells trailers. And I was looking at this trailer and it's like, it's got a center aisle kitchen in it. It's you're going to be blown away. It's like a 5-star hotel room when you get done with this. Well, let's be clear. Paradise. Yeah. But just common, average living domiciles you can travel with. And with the cost of motels and, you know, going to a Super 8 and running into some Pakistani going, you don't give me too much money. You know, it's just, the whole thing is just so weird. And the bed bugs. Yeah, I'm thinking trailering would be fun. Andy. He's in tiny houses. And the tiny house movement is picking up out here in Portland and Seattle. There's people building tiny houses because they're easy to heat. And that technology is getting easier and easier to build. You can get a base for a tiny house for about $2,000 right now with the wheels on them. And you can build your own trailer, essentially. But we got a lot of fun stuff here tonight. But technology will be we'll be discussing robotics. I wanted to. This is a guy making a mud hut, a daub mud hut from scratch. I'll show you the finished product. He built this in the woods by himself with his bare hands. Phenomenal. Out of mud and reeds. It's hilarious. But yeah, we have to more concerned about with the advance of technology. So I wanted to kind of simplify the show and make it easy for everyone to understand. The best technology is the stuff that you can use at your own house. Technology that makes your life simpler, or that cuts your costs on your housing. This mud daub hut is not exactly the best solution. But here he is, sticking the mud on the hut. And there it is, a finished mud daub hut. Took him like 2 days. Okay, let me get to Andy Kimmy here. Here it is. Dude is cool, yeah. He is very slightly ancestral. What? Looks smelly. I wouldn't want to live there. It's a rat trap. It's disgusting. Okay, this is the 2015 Bullet by Andy Kimmy. Camping RV sales. Yeah, isn't that cool? I'll play that in about 12 minutes. And we'll kick off a whole series of videos on technology as we get more into it. Let's touch down on the reality, though, of our country and what we're dealing with, because this is more of a political show. I didn't want to sidetrack on, nonsensical issues like where you're going to live the rest of your life. Yeah, and who wants to talk about that? Somehow I feel I'm being watched. You cannot vote for me in Canada, but thank you for mentioning me to your friends from America. That would help. I'm David Sponheim. I'm running for president. It's been a nonstop interactive TV encounter for the past 7 years. You're moving into the White House? First bartender? Oh, that's a possibility. Absolutely. During my first few years, we want to bring everybody in that got us to the ballot. If I do win, if I don't win, I guess I won't be giving you a job. Sometimes you feel like you're being watched. It's the weirdest feeling, especially when you have a video camera on you all night long. Well, Andy Kimmy's a fairly portly guy. You'll see him in a second.
Hello there, my name's Andy Kimmy. I'm part of the sales team here at Camping World of Port.
Okay, well, he's had a few too many hot dogs in between his sales. They make those hot dogs in the back room, and I'm sure he's enjoyed them. But yeah, we're on track. Absolutely. I would think all of you could, find a job in my administration in your area so you wouldn't have to move. We're going to need people to build the national composting systems in every area. You may want to be a team leader on the homestead renewal plan. Maybe you want to, supervise projects and start getting people organized to fix up houses. It does look like Rob Ford. I don't think Camping World is a CIA front. That's the funniest thing I think I've ever heard on this show. Not really. I've actually been watching you too. The ability of artificial intelligence is we are able to see you through your camera on your computer. For instance, guest 187, you are wearing a yellow shirt. Grizzly Ray, you have an open beer on the desk next to your lampshade. Chemical, Orange County, California. Let's take a look. I'm good. You normally don't have this type of psychic ability in a show like this, but we've got it. We've got it in spades. I know a lot of things. Okay, let's take a look. This is right outside of Sister Fight's house. Helicopters. Unbelievable. Look at this. Helicopters and chemtrails. I'd be freaking out. This is like a day in my life every day where I live. We've always got chemtrails above our house. We'll be playing chemtrails tonight too, you know that. Good beat. Army helicopters, did they go down to Camp Pendleton, you think? They're probably on the way to Camp Pendleton, running a sortie or something. The sky is a mess everywhere you go, man. It's air, food, water, poison. You're right. That's why I want to, show you Andy Kimmy and how cool this trailer is. To help keep your mind off reality. Gotta love that. Helicopters scanning you with heat sensors, infrared sensors, and detectors. Chemtrails, March 22nd. That was 2 days ago in Orange County, California, everybody. Thank you. Now back to Andy Kimmy and the 25-foot bullet. The one he's going to show you is 22 feet, so you can imagine 3 extra feet on there. Cool. Well, I'm glad we had a good time talking tonight. I like technology I can use. I bought a recent device for our cars, and it's a electronic stabilizer, it's called. I got it at, well, doesn't matter where I got it. Yeah, it's Heartland America is the company. And it has the ability to, this product, electronic stabilizer, it goes in your cigarette lighter in your car, and it neutralizes the energy your car has going on in it. Apparently there's a lot of spikes going through your spark plugs that are unnecessary background spikes that actually prevent your gas from properly igniting in your direct fuel injection system. And it's amazing. I mean, I did see about a 15 to 20% improvement in my gas mileage. And this device only costs like $15 at heartlandamerica.com. Yeah, you can get 2 right now for $15. You can save money on your gas by 15%, 20% savings on fuel is huge. So these are technologies that I love. I love things that are cheap, that save you a lot of money in the long run. Like I was saying, drinking filtered water will save you in the long run on health to start with. Andy's been eating too many hot dogs, like I said. I've got hot dogs in the stove right now ready to eat, so I'm going to follow suit with Andy. But we're going to kick off the show with this technology that's available for you for 20 grand. Or that really cool Fleetwood trailer in Cincinnati, Ohio for 2,000. That was amazing. I can't say it's the coolest looking trailer on the road, but for 2 grand, that's not a bad deal for all that room in there. So yeah, life is not as hard as you make it out to be. You can always move up from there, But if you're a young couple and you're starting out and you guys you don't have a lot of money and you want to have your own independence from mom and dad, it's the better way to go than to take on a big mortgage, which saddles you down, and you can actually go underwater. Your house value can drop below the mortgage value, and you'll be paying into a loan for 20 years and not even have a house worth the value that you put into it. So, and I don't recommend buying anything necessarily from any one particular group. But if you're going to get a water filter, the one I've noticed is pretty good, and they have a good policy. They gave me a free filter because I called and I said my filter clogged too quickly. Was this company called ZeroWater.com. And they're available at Walmart. Pretty reasonable, too. For about $25, you can have a really good, robust filter for your drinking. Definitely recommend filtering your water. You had hot dogs, too, Green-Eyed Girl? Really? Well, I got mine nitrate-free. We found some nitrate-free hot dogs from Oscar Mayer. It's a brand new brand that they're coming out with. They recognize the nitrates are problems for people, so they're coming out with these nitrate-free ones. Yeah, and I'm trying to tell you to get out of your mommy and daddy's basement and get a life. But I'm also trying to make it reasonable for you and make you understand it's not impossible. I think Zero Water is better than Brita. They've come up with zero total dissolved solids when you initially use. And they even give you a meter that you can check to see if your filter is clogged or needs replacement. I use Brita filters right now, yeah. I use my reverse osmosis filter under the sink, and then I have the Brita filter for a second level. I actually filter it twice. Hey, I don't care, man. I'm not letting it trip on you if you live in your parents' basement. Your parents are going to need help that when you get, to the point where you can be their guy, to go help them out, do shopping for them. So I have no problem with you people living with your parents. I think that's great. Seriously. There's no better way to save money in this economy. And your parents just want what's best for you. They love you. And they want you to be at least fulfilled in what you're doing, to feel good about life. So if you can save your money while you're living with your parents, that's smart. And then keep an option like I was telling you about. Now, when I put you in the middle of Cincinnati, Ohio in a 31-foot trailer for $5,000, that was not my intention. You could actually move to Montana. And for the same amount of money, you could probably get a piece of property and a trailer. And you wouldn't have to live in Cincinnati, Ohio. But you can make this happen anywhere in the country for under $15,000, $20,000. I know. I'm making it hopeful for people so they can realize it's not that hard to understand. I'm looking at a trailer option myself just to have the ability to travel, because Sarah and I don't necessarily like motels. And with a trailer option, you can actually, stay on the road and even park in rest areas and, get 5 hours sleep and move on. It's not like Walmart even allows people to park in their parking lots across the country. They call it Walmart tourism. No, Grizzly Ray, we have to look at Andy Kimmy because he's going to start talking in about 1 minute. Really? You installed your RO system and the ice cube maker in the freezer makes clear ice now. Yay! Yeah, I remember the water in your area. Yeah. Yeah, I used to live right where Scissor Fight lives now. I grew up in the area of Orange County, California. Okay, Andy, we're all set for you. Hey, thanks everybody for coming in and watching our recorded broadcast. We do this every night, and it records to YouTube. And you can watch all our past shows, well into the past if you want to. And we will be back tomorrow night with Freedom Friday. Thanks for coming in and joining us at our network at Vaughn. Excellent. Yeah, it seems so fast the way time flies doing this show. It is fun. It's great. I love it. I can't get over 4 hours just roll along like they're nothing. It still amazes me how we do this. And this is 7,000 plus hours of broadcasting. Thanks for coming into the show, guys. Appreciate it. We'll be playing videos like a lot of really good robotic videos we're coming tonight, talking about the future of robocops. And as you know, I really am concerned about the growing police state and the importance of getting a good, strong, honest leader to the forefront of this nation so we can prevent excesses and abuses by very rich elitists who want to create an even more invasive police state. Big problem. We have to get up and do this politically to challenge the two-party system. All right. Good night, everybody.